Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Àwọn sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Ìgbéde lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. They never sabi wetin we carry for her. But e dey move closer before dem go sabi. I said they never know wetin we carry for body. But e dey move closer before dem go sabi. Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ ni ń lo ló lájú. Ẹyẹ tó torí kodò bí àná ọ̀pẹ tẹ̀lé tó. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa. Ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga. Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wá. Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣègìrì. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀. Ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé ilẹ̀ ìlérí. Àwa lè gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé. Ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri. Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá. Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ. Ètò tó pọ̀jù ògbó ìwà mọ́ni. Kásá. Ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé gbúgbà yín jẹ. Ètò tó pọ̀jù ògbó ìwà mọ́ni. À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ. Ètò tó pọ̀jù ògbó ìwà mọ́ni. News and sports, ẹ máa rí gbọ́. Ètò tó pọ̀jù ògbó ìwà mọ́ni. Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia, ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi. Má bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata. Àgbádùn rẹ̀, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi. Ṣé ìlú ọmọ fìdí bọ̀ tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o? Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ sájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ. Àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó òyìnbó tó dé. Ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́kun pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia, ṣàwa ni bàbá. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àdáńtọ́, àtúnpèrè gidi. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọgbọ́ o. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àkúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá yọ. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. We bring you work closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Afẹ́fẹ́ tó fẹ́ o tó kàn kí oko lára ni. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àpèrè gèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ni bàbá o. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Odùduwà lágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àgbìsọ̀dálẹ̀, àgbìsọ̀dígẹ̀ta. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àgùntàn, àgùnpèrè gèdè. Koikimedia. to your doorstep. Koikimedia is around. To give us latest. Is around. To give us latest. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo. Koikimedia is around. Koikimedia.
Moki Bugua say very good evening and welcome to our late night transmission from the London studio. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Quite a lot to discuss, and we hope we will have enough time to cover the broadcast. The broadcast is going to be mixed. We will have it in English because of the message I want to pass. And I will also be speaking in Yoruba for the audience from the Yoruba side. I also have a press release coming from Chief Igboho that I will be giving us the updates. Masoro nipa Chief Imam, and I'll be giving you my honest opinion. So sit back and let's enjoy the broadcast. Mo kí gbogbo yín tí a jọ wà nínú àwẹ̀ Ramadan. Mo kẹ́yìn Christian tí a wà nínú Lent. Mo kí Professor Adebanji Akitoye. Mo kí Kayode Mola. Mo kí George Akinola. Mo kí Ọba Ògbóni. Mo kí Ajagun. Mo kí YSD. Mo kí Ìlànà. Mo kí gbogbo groups pátápátá. Mo wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo fi gbogbo kíkí wọn. Mo fi ti Dr. Chief Igboho láti fi kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Myself and Chief have been back and forth speaking throughout the day, watching the development from Rivers State. There's a current disaster happening as I speak right now in Abuja. And we are saying it again clearly that President Bola Tinubu should allow the Yoruba people to leave Nigeria peacefully in the interest of everyone. So there's a lot to discuss. Share the program and invite others to do so. I will kickstart from the Yoruba anthem and then we'll dive straight into the program. Let's go with the first news bulletin from the Koikimedia team, and then we will go straight back into the discussion of the day. Today is the 19th of March, 2025. And like I said earlier, there's so much to cover, and I pray that I will have enough time to discuss everything. There is a war that is looming, and the war might come from the River State, the Ijaw people. And I hope that the Yoruba people will not get caught up because of President Bola Tinubu. So we're going to be discussing all that. Let's kickstart with the news bulletin from the Koikimedia team.
Hello, good evening. Here's the news on Koikimedia. First, the headlines. Sunday Igboho rebukes Gumi's remarks, reaffirms commitment to Yoruba nation amid national challenges. Now the news and details. Hiya, Titilopa Daku. Yoruba nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, has strongly criticized Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmad Gumi over his remarks, dismissing separatist movements, reaffirming the determination of the Yoruba people to pursue self-determination amid worsening insecurity and economic hardship. Gumi recently likened those agitating for the Yoruba and Biafra nations to Boko Haram resurgence, describing them as miscreants and insisting that Nigeria would remain indefeasible. He argued that mass participation in national elections reflected the people's preference for unity, adding that prominent Yoruba and Igbo leaders had not endorsed secessionist movements. In response, Igboho, through his spokesman OLAYOMI KOIKI, reaffirmed that the agitation for an independent Yoruba nation had gained significant support, driven by concerns over insecurity, government failures, and economic decline. He lamented the persistent attacks on farmers and villagers in Yoruba land, rising unemployment, and deteriorating public services, arguing that self-governance was necessary for the safety and prosperity of Yoruba people. Igboho also emphasized the need to preserve Yoruba cultural identity and traditions, ensuring that inter-ethnic marriages would be accommodated under a structured immigration policy in the proposed Yoruba nation. Warning Gumi against making derogatory remarks about the movement, Igboho insisted that the struggle for self-determination was distant from other regional conflict and should be respected. And that is the news. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Let's kickstart from the video that we got from Sheikh Gumi to the Yoruba people and the Biafra and those that is calling all kind of manners of names. And then we will then take it from there to the response back from Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho to Sheikh Gumi regarding this particular video. Let's kickstart from here. Once again, a very good evening.
If you're waking up 5 times a night
Share the
just
program
to pee,
and let us kickstart with this particular video that was received from the Koikimedia team and also in discussion with myself and Chief Sunday Igboho, and also Professor Akintoye will be responding back. But first and foremost, I am responding back on behalf of Chief Sunday Igboho as the spokesman. But let's listen to the video, then I'll be telling you the reaction or the remarks back to Sheikh Gumi, one of the founder of the Boko Haram terrorists, one of those that have killed and destroyed the lives of millions of people, whether the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Ijaw. Sheikh Gumi is behind a lot of the terrorism happening in Nigeria, and we are still not sure, while he has not yet been apprehended as many would have expected. Let's listen first to what he said, and then I'll come back again.
Yoruba in-laws, I have them. So one of my what do you call it? Their issues now. What do you call them? Do you call them a Hausa Fulani or you call them Yorubas? Who's coming to divide us and say those people should go back to? If you go to Lagos, if you go to okay, I usually give example. General Murtala Mohammed, the man from Kano, the head of state that was assassinated by Junta. His wife is a Yoruba woman. So where do you want his children to go if the nation is divided? Are they going to be with the Yorubas or are they going to be with the Hausas in the north? Look, let's forget this useless youth. They are no more different from these hardmen. These people agitating for Akududua and Biafra or Ariwa or just Boko Haram. They are all the same group of people. The majority of Nigerians wants to stay in Nigeria. And if they're in doubt, let's make a referendum. I can make a social. Look at the election. When the election in Nigeria, millions of votes from all the states. PDP or APC states will get millions of votes, means Nigerians are ready to stay in a corporate Nigeria. This is by an indirect referendum, which shows that people are ready. All these youth that are making noise, whether Boko Haram, Shekau, whether Kanu or IPOP, whether whatever it is of Odudua, they are just a small, tiny minority of Nigerians using sentiments, ethnic, archaic, retrogressive sentiments to destabilize the nation. But Nigerians, I'm telling you, I can vouch on that. Nigerians wants to stay together in peace, but in peace and equity, not any segment of Nigeria which is cheated. I can vouch for that, and I am for that.
If I hear you clearly, you said Nigerians really want to be together. Are you really sure Nigerians want to be together?
Yes, they want to. No, yes, they want to be. Yeah, I'm in Sokoto now. There are still Igbo traders there, many, in millions. They don't want to go back home. So what do you tell me? They want to Biafra. Biafra is a nuisance, just like Boko Haram. You think every northerner is a Boko Haram? No, but not. Most Nigerians, they don't want this extreme ethnic or religious groups. They don't want them. Most Nigerians want peace. They live together as a nation. That is it. And what can affirm to you? Look at all these people agitating like Odudua. Where are the Yoruba leaders?
Well, we have just listened to a terrorist man called Sheikh Gumi parading himself as a sheikh, but we do know that that is just one of the lies that these terrorists pretend to when they are operating within another terrorist country. As we know, Nigeria was never meant to be a country as well. Let us address it one at a time. We have listened to Sheikh Gumi comparing the Yoruba people, the Biafra, the Ijaw, and the Hausa that are asking under the Article 3 of the United Nations to break away from Nigeria. Breaking away from a country is not a crime, and it can never be a crime. Everybody knows that even the vice president recently was at the United Nations General Assembly last year and demanding that the Palestinians should be given the right to self-determination. So when the Yoruba people are clamoring to break away from Nigeria, is because their right must be respected. So we've listened to these terrorist man comparing one of the most hospitality people and one of those that have been in existence for thousands of years before, the British, with their cronies, decided to manipulate the minds of those at the time and decided under a business arrangement to convert what is now called Nigeria. Nigeria is not a country. We have defined that so many times, whether it is the fraudulent amalgamation. The Yoruba has been in existence for the last thousands of years. And if under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye, who is the leader? Because Gumi is pointing out that where are the leaders? We have leaders. One of our leaders is Professor Adebanji Akintoye. One of our leaders is Professor Adebanji Akintoye. One of our leaders is Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Thrice, I've repeated that. He's an elder statesman and he knows what is good and what is right for his people. And under him, we have many other leaders. One of them is also Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. One of them is also George Akinola. One of them is also many that we can continue to name. But one thing we need to clear tonight, which is the 19th of March 2025 at exactly 2134 hours from my London studio, is that we need to make it clear that the Yorubas are not terrorists. The terrorist is in the northern part of Nigeria, terrorizing millions of people, the indigenous people, either through the economic, through the welfare, and through movement of goods and services. So when somebody like Gumi is coming out and speaking, we are trying to figure out how did it come around that the Yorubas that are asking for the right to self-determination can be compared to the Fulani terrorists, the Boko Haram, the ISWAP, the ISIS, the Lakurawa, that are being funded by the same criminal gangs like himself and the Sultan of Sokoto, the El Rufai, the Ganjude, and many of them in the north that have converted the north as their own, because there's nothing called Fulani when we do know, going back to the history. So let's just give you, as Igboho has requested, that we respond back to Sheikh Gumi, the criminal that do think that he can compare the Yoruba people as a terrorist organization. Let me make it clear again, under the international law, there is no way that the Yoruba people have been defined, classified as terrorist organization. We are doing exactly what the laws, the international law, the African Union law has requested. And that means asking for self-determination is never a crime, and it can never be a crime. So let us make it clear to those in the northern part of Nigeria, we are not criminals, and we will pull out of Nigeria regardless of whether President Tinubu is a Yoruba man that wants Nigeria. When the right time is ripe enough, which is getting very closer, we will define our right to self-determination, and that right will be respected by the presidency, the international community, and those that are friends to the federal government of Nigeria. Sunday, Igboho rebukes Sheikh Gumi's remarks, reaffirms commitment to Yoruba nation amid national challenges. Sunday Igboho issues a stern warning to Sheikh Gumi, and he says, I should make it very clear to you, Sheikh Gumi, is giving you warning. And when Igboho gives his warning, he doesn't joke with it. You might want to ask in 2021, when he gave 7 days ultimatum in Igboho to those that were terrorizing and disturbing the peace of the Yoruba people. We are still doing everything within the ambience of the international law, but Igboho asked me to give you the final warning. Gumi, Igboho says I should make it clear to you. Let us divide Nigeria peacefully without bloodshed. Igboho is not joking, neither Babakitoye and the rest of the millions of the Yoruba people that believe in self-determination. We can still be neighbors, but we cannot live under the same country. So he's telling me to give you this final warning that you should stop comparing the Yoruba people with the terrorist organization that you all have set up within the northern part of Nigeria, terrorizing millions of Nigerians, including the Yoruba people. He's asking me to give you warning. And this is not a threat, it is a warning. And we will come after every single one of you. We are not joking. We are not joking. He has asked me that you might want to go back to 2021 when 7 days ultimatum was given to one of your criminal gangs operating in Igboho. Even your mastermind, Buhari, could not stop him from making it to Igboho. You might be far away in Sokoto, but there's a way that we can deal with every single one of you. Let us divide Nigeria and stop comparing the Yoruba people as a terrorist organization. The Yorubas are not terrorists. We remain a peaceful citizen until the dissolution of Nigeria. We will not be pushed, but we are ready to act. Igboho says I should make it clear to you, Gumi, directly, that your words of comparing us to terrorists must stop. You know who the terrorists are. You know exactly where the terrorists are because you have visited them many times and evidence has pointed that you are one of the leaders of those terrorist organizations. So comparing Professor Akintoye and the millions of the Yoruba people that believe in the right to self-determination as terrorists is calling for a serious consequences. Those consequences will not be something that we will be telling you on the social media, but those consequences are not a threat. We will do exactly what is needed if you continue to push the lines of calling the Yoruba people terrorist organization. We are calling Sheikh Gumi. Those of you that know him, tell him that I, OLAYOMI KOIKI, the spokesman for Chief Sunday Igboho, have spoken on behalf of Igboho that he has given you the final warning. And for those Yorubas in the north, please start making things as quickly to return back home. Things could be very ugly. If you're living in the northern part of Nigeria as a Yoruba, you might start thinking now of moving back downwards because Sheikh Gumi is calling for war against the Yoruba people. We are not terrorist organization. We are those that are asking peacefully under the leadership of Professor Akintoye to exit Nigeria, but Gumi is pointing to us as criminal terrorist organization, and Igboho says we will not accept that. And he's using this medium. I will not be coming out again to give you a warning. We can assure you that. But let's read exactly the statement coming from Igboho tonight. Sunday Igboho issued a stamped warning to Sheikh Gumi, cautioning him against making a derogatory remarks about the Yoruba Nation movement. In a recent development that has sparked widespread attention, Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, aka Igboho Sha, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, has now issued a strong warning to Sheikh Ahmed Gumi regarding his remarks and utterances against one of the most loyal, the most peaceful people in the southwest part of Nigeria, that are the Yorubas. Sheikh Gumi needs to understand that his remarks is making a push, and that push, we will continue to say it clearly. His utterances, his message, comparing the Yoruba people as the terrorists, knowing fully well those that are terrorists within Nigeria today, will not be accepted. The Nigerian cleric, known for his involvement in negotiating with terrorists, asserted that Nigeria will remain indivisible and dismiss the capacity of the Oduduwa or the Yoruba nation agitators to effect secession. In response, Chief Sunday Igboho, through his spokesman, OLAYOMI KOIKI, has reiterated the resolve of the Yoruba people to pursue self-determination, citing escalating insecurity, economic hardship, system of governance, failures as compelling reasons for this stance. Sheikh Gumi's assertions. Sheikh Ahmed Gumi recently characterized those agitating for Biafra and Oduduwa Republic as akin to the Boko Haram insurgent, labeling them as miscreant and emphasizing that the majority of the Nigerians desire unity and peace within a single nation. He further argued that the participation of millions in the national elections indicate a collective preference for a united Nigeria. Gumi also pointed out that the prominent Yoruba and Igbo leaders have not endorsed the secessionist movement, suggesting that these agitations are driven by a minority with a destructive intention, destructive intention. This is Sunday Igboho's rebuttal. In a decisive response, Chief Sunday Igboho, through his spokesman, OLAYOMI KOIKI, has addressed Sheikh Gumi's remarks underscoring the following point. Number one, unwavering commitment to Yoruba nation. Igboho emphasized that the movement for the Yoruba self-determination is resolute and has gained substantial support among the Yoruba populace. He asserted that the Yoruba nation is poised to establish itself as an independent entity reflecting the collective will of its people. Number two, escalating insecurity and economic hardship. Highlighting the deteriorating security situation, Chief Sunday Igboho lamented the incense of killings of innocent farmers and villagers in Yoruba land. He has also pointed to the perceived economic challenges, including widespread hardship and unemployment as factors fueling the desire of the self-governance. Number three, systematic governance failures. Igboho criticized the prevailing governance structure, citing bad governance and inadequate healthcare facilities as indicators of a failed system. He argued that these systematic issues have left the Yoruba people with no healthcare facilities as indicators of a failing system. He argued that these systematic issues have left the Yoruba people with no choice but to seek an alternative path that ensures their safety, prosperity, and cultural preservation. Number four, preservation of identity and culture. Emphasize the importance of cultural identity. Chief Sunday Igboho stated that the Yoruba people are determined to establish a nation where their heritage and traditions are respected and promoted. He asserted that the self-determination is essential for the safety and the well-being of the current and the future generations. Number five, inclusivity and immigration policies. Addressing concerns about inter-ethnic marriages and relationships, Sunday Igboho assured that individuals from other regions married to Yoruba persons will be accommodated within the framework of the new nation. He proposed that such matters will be amicably managed through immigration policies, ensuring unity and harmony. Number six, advocacy for freedom and justice. Igboho decried the lack of freedom of speech and the constraint imposed by what he described as a fraudulent constitution. He emphasized that the pursuit of the self-determination is driven by the desire for justice, equality, and the protection of fundamental human rights. This is now also a stern warning to Sheikh Gumi. Concluding his statement, Chief Sunday Igboho issued a stern warning to Sheikh Gumi, cautioning him against making derogatory remarks about the Yoruba nation movement. He emphasized that the aspirations of the Yoruba people are distinct and should not be conflated with other regional issues. Chief Igboho reiterated that the Yoruba nation's quest for self-determination is unwavering and must be respected. In conclusion, the exchange between Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho underscores the deepening discourse on Nigerians' unity and the growing calls for self-determination among various ethnic groups. As the nation grapples with challenges related to security, governance, and economic stability, it is imperative for all stakeholders to engage in a constructive dialogue that addresses the concerns of all communities. The pursuit of peace, justice, and equality remains central to the aspiration of the Nigerian people. Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, trade spokesman, OLAYOMI KOIKI, coming today, the 19th of March, 2025. Let's break it down a little bit for the benefit of those that are listening to us. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ẹ lọ fi gbogbo ọkàn yín sílẹ̀. Ẹ má bẹ̀rù. A wà lójú ọ̀nà. A kì í ṣe ọ̀daràn. A dẹ̀ kì í ṣe terrorist. In tó bá wọn Gumi ni kò fẹnu ara ẹ̀ sọ. Àmọ́ ọjọ́ kan ń bọ̀ ni Ọlọ́run wí. Ọjọ́ kan yẹn kò ní pẹ́ mọ́. Wọ́n ń ṣe gbogbo ohun tó yẹ kó ṣe láti fi jẹ́ kí ìrìn àjò yẹn kó yá ni. Ó dẹ̀ máa yá, kò ní pẹ́ mọ́. Mo wá tún fi ń lọ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ṣe ń fì sẹ́yìn. Pé ṣé ti gbọ́ ohun tí Gumi sọ tó ń pe ìran ọmọ Yorùbá ní terrorist, tó ń compare wa pẹ̀lú àwọn Boko Haram. Níjọ́ wo lọmọ Yorùbá mú ọ̀bẹ ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń gé orí ọmọ ènìyàn? Níjọ́ wo lọmọ Yorùbá mú àdá ló pààyàn kalẹ̀ sójú títì pé kó má lè lọ sóko? Níjọ́ wo lọmọ Yorùbá jí èèyàn tó tún wá di pé wọ́n ń gba owó ribiti lọ́wọ́ àwọn onítọ̀hún? Ara ìdí tí a ṣe ń sọ fẹ́yìn èèyàn wa pé àjọṣepọ̀ wa àti Nàìjíríà kò lè lọ mọ́ bó ṣe jẹ́ kó lọ. The time is now. It is right. There is no point living in denial. There is no point trying to save a country that is like a jungle where everything that Chief Igboho has highlighted is exactly what has been playing out in this contraction that the British created, knowing fully well that we are all different people and different culture, different background, yet we were forced to live together in this fake country that was never meant to be a country. So we're going to go back again on Koikimedia studio in London, 19th of March 2025. It's coming up to exactly 9 minutes before 2200 hours where this transmission is coming from. Sunday Igboho is returning back what Gumi is saying regarding the Yoruba people, calling us all manners of names. So we're going to play back again what Gumi says, and we will start highlighting it one at a time. It is time that those that know him want him to stick his nose away from those that are campaigning and want to leave this jungle known as Nigeria. Nigeria is not a country. It was never a country until the criminal white colonial power decided for their own business purposes, change the dynamic, the identity, the culture, and stole so much out of many of these different areas. And knowing that we cannot live as one, decided to go ahead and put us together, calling it One Nigeria. One Nigeria today is where a president has the power to pull down a democracy that has been played out and force a military 6 months, as we are seeing it happening in Rivers State. A country where people are being marginalized. Let's listen one more time to what the criminal Gumi Ahmed, a terrorist man, said about the Yoruba people, and then we come back to more of what Igboho said.
What do you call it? The issues now, what do you call them? You call them House of Fulani or you call them Yorubas? Who's coming to divide us and say those people should go back to?
He's asking who's coming to divide us. Well, nobody's going to come to divide us when the right time is getting closer. And I mean getting closer. Baba Akintoye would do exactly what he has the power that the people has given him, that are the Yoruba, to do in terms of making what is known as a Yoruba country. That is not something that we are waiting for America, the international community, because United Nations does not give country. But we have every right at the appropriate time to make our country known to the international community, and that is going to happen very soon by the God grace, by the power of the will of the Yoruba people that we have given to Professor Akintoye. We would have no choice than to make that declaration at the appropriate time. It will not be long anymore, and I can assure the Yoruba people to remain firm and focused from all manners of distractions that is going around in Nigeria. Our problem is got nothing to do with the distraction. If Tinubu wants to take over Rivers State, that is his own problem. Rivers State is not Ogun State. Rivers State is not Yoruba land. It's not Southwest. When the time is right, the people around that area will fight back for their right. Our problem is not in Rivers State. All our problem is within the Yoruba land, where we are requesting that we go out of Nigeria. So we pray that Tinubu continue to do everything upside down that will drag and bring Nigeria to an end before the end of his tenure. Let's go back and listen more.
If you go to Lagos, if you go to okay, I usually give example. Murtala Mohammed, General Murtala Mohammed, the man from Kano, the head of state that was assassinated by Junka. His wife is a Yoruba woman. So where do you want his children to go?
Well, Igboho has already answered that in the press release tonight. Gumi is asking, like many of you do ask, what happened to my friend that got married to the Hausa? What happened to those that are married to Igbo? What married to those that are married to whoever they wants to marry to, and they're living with children? Well, Igboho was able to give us an answer to that in the discussion that we just gave you tonight. And that is coming under the number 5. Let me explain how that works. I live in this country 25 years plus. If I have married a white woman, I will have gone through immigration. Does not mean that I don't want to keep my country. I can still keep my country, but you can still become a nationality of a new country due to marriage. That means that I can apply for the British nationality on the basis that I married to a white woman. The same thing goes to many Nigerians that have married to people that are not Nigerians, whether in Germany, in Finland. So when the argument about if Nigeria breaks away, how do we manage those that are married each other? That is the most easiest part. You will go through the immigration. So those of us that are fully married, beautiful marriage, whether you marry the Hausa, whether you marry the Igbo, whether you marry the Ijo, do not be scared. Do not be worried. Do not let people like Gumi, a terrorist, confuse you that because you have married out of your own ethnic indigenous people, that you will be thrown away out of a new country like the Yoruba country. You will never be. You would even be much better to live in a country where you will be respected. You'll be given the real reason why the marriage works. Because right now, many marriages of such is not even well protected under the criminal constitution, as the power-drunk man Tinubu is using right now, using the power of a fake constitution to dissolve an elected government. Whether the government was a rigged one, Tinubu also was a rigged election during the election that just passed. So it does not matter what is playing out in Rivers State, it did not have what it takes to have uphold what people voted for. But yet, this is part of the reason why Nigeria can never be won. So I hope those of you in Rivers State, Ijo River Rhine, will continue to do whatever is needed, whatever you can do to protect your identity. We have told many of you, Nigeria can never be won, and I'm happy that Tinubu is dealing with many of you that refuse to allow Nigeria to break. Tinubu will be the last president to govern this shit old jungle called Nigeria. So when Gumi is talking about marriage, intermarriage, Igboho says that is one of the most easiest things. Let's look at number 5. Inclusivity and immigration policies, addressing concerns about intermarriage, inter-ethnic marriages, and relationships, Chief Sunday Igboho assured that individuals from other regions that are married to Yoruba persons will be accommodated within the framework of the new nation. Let me also go back again. When the EU dissolved, when UK left EU rather in 2016, many of those that still wants to live here under the European new rules were living here. Even though UK is no longer part of the EU, but many of those that are married and European citizen still have the right to live in the UK. So that is not something that you should be scared of. That is not something that you should be concerned about. What you should be concerned about is, what have you gained as a Yoruba man that married a Igbo woman in a country where there is no love, there's no unity? You realize that when you live as a new country, your fundamental rights will be respected, your welfare will be taken care of, your security will be taken care of, and even your identity will be preserved, regardless of whether you are from Yoruba land. But right now, all that is not working. So Igboho stated clearly at number 5, inclusivity and immigration policies, addressing concerns about inter-ethnic marriages and relationships. Igboho assured that individuals from other regions married to Yoruba persons will be accommodated within the framework of the new nation. He proposed that such matters will be amicably managed through immigration policies, ensuring unity and harmony. You will not have any reason to be scared or worry that you are not in Nigeria again. Let's go further and listen to a terrorist, Gumi, in this video that we're analyzing.
If the nation is divided, are they going to be with the Yorubas or are they going to be with the Hausas in the north? Like, let's forget this useless youth. They are no more different from this.
Well, we are not useless youth, because the criminal ones that have run Nigerian dry were in their youth. Babangida was a criminal. They were in their youth when they were running Nigeria. They run it dry. Buhari was a criminal Fulani man. He ran it dry. Abacha in his youth run it dry. Every single one of them that ruled Nigeria were in their youth. We are no longer in our youth. We are adult. And adult knows what is right for them. Nigeria is not right for the Yoruba people. And we have spoken as adults that we do not want to have anything to do with Nigeria again. Never again. We want to leave Nigeria, and we will do so by the will and the power of the Yoruba people that have spoken under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. So calling us miscreant makes nothing call that they are the miscreant, because the miscreant are the one that have disturbed us using all manners of terrorism to create threat, havoc, and evil to the indigenous people, whether they are the Hausas that they've taken out or those that agenda to remove us and force Islam on everybody within the Southwest will not be tolerated. Nigeria is at the verge of breakup, and the breakup is moving very fast, and we pray it happen before the end of this year.
These people are agitating for Akududura and Biafra or Ariwa or just Boko Haram. They're all the same group of people.
You cannot compare us as same people, because for the 4 years of this movement, we've never attacked any security personnel. We've never dressed as a military personnel to disguise on the highway and kidnap innocent people. As I speak to you today, I've received another message from one of our listeners in Canada. His friend was kidnapped in Kogi State on Sunday, this Sunday. We can no longer live in a country where we live in fear. We can no longer live in a country where many people continue to live as if we are not citizens. Nigeria is not working, and we are hoping that Tinubu will now come into the conclusion and divide Nigeria. If not, Nigeria will be worse placed than the Yugoslavia. So Gumi can continue to compare us with terrorists, but right deep in his heart, he knows that the real terrorists are himself, enforcing that terrorism against innocent Nigerians, and that would not be accepted. And that's the reason why we're sending the message back. And there will never be another new message. This is the final warning.
The majority of Nigerians wants to stay in Nigeria.
You're a liar. Majority of Nigerians doesn't want to stay together. We want to have our separate countries. We can be great neighbors. We can be great neighbors with the Hausa people that are very good people. We can be great neighbors with the Ijaw people, because right now the Ijaw are being marginalized, as we can see. How can a place that has one of the beautiful crude oil that can be sold and turn things around are the people living under the average poverty level today? You go to all the river Rhine. We saw how the mess that the international community, we knew how Abacha killed Ken Saro-Wiwa. We cannot continue to live in denial. The Ijaw people can be less than 1 million. I'm sure they are more than enough to have a country. There are countries that are not even up to 2 million. There are countries that are not up to 500,000. And they can transform their land to the top of any country of their desire. But right now, they are being marginalized and they can no longer live in this shithole country. But they will have to speak on their behalf. I can't speak on their behalf. But in terms of the Yoruba people have done so much. But our so much is not shooting out in this contraction. And like I said, we would do whatever it takes and whatever it takes to pull out of Nigeria. And we are not joking about that. Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. We hope we can dialogue it out, but we have every right to do whatever we want to do at the appropriate time. We don't need to announce that on the social media. So whatever Gumi is saying, he needs to go back and ask why terrorism is operating across Nigeria so that they can use that to pin down the indigenous people, steal their land, steal their resources, and create fear. And today, in Akure, 4 more Yoruba people were killed, or I believe kidnapped, not killed. I don't know whether, I think about 4 of them were killed. 4 have now also been missing, about 8 people. Today in Akure, 2 weeks ago, Saturday, 26 people were killed. This is an occurrence that is happening on a daily basis. We heard that there's many camps across the Yoruba land today of full-blown weapon, RPG, and many, because we know that, because evidence pointed out many times from experts that have continued to tell the Nigerians that we need now to review whether we want to stay together. Nigeria is already compromised. Nigeria cannot look after every indigenous people. And we are now demanding that President Tinubu divide Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu divide Nigeria. If not, you might also end up at the International Criminal Court for crime against humanity. Let's go back to the criminal Gumi and hear more from him.
And if they're in doubt, let's make a referendum. I can make a social...
Well, they're not going to make a referendum. And it's comparing that the people that are going to vote, a vote that people are intimidated, a vote that people are not allowed to cast their vote. Even the Yoruba people we saw in the last election were beaten, thinking that they were Igbos. So you cannot use that to gauge that people that are market women, that Tinubu's daughter continue to tell them if they don't go and vote, they will take them out of the market. These are women that doesn't want to vote, but they have no choice. That cannot be used as a gauge that people that have want to vote are the ones that still want to keep Nigeria together. We know how the politicians have done in the past and how they continue to do. We saw the criminal son of the president using RISE to deceive the Northerners for another 2027 votes. That cannot be accepted. That is not a genuine vote. People must be allowed to vote out of their choice. And if people are allowed to vote out of their choice, Tinubu will never be the president, because we know that. But the fact that, the way the system is running, it's a criminal system. INEC is a criminal system. So I pity when, Nigerians think that, by using their PVC, you can get the actual, voting pattern and you can get whoever you want in there. No, election has always been rigged. The British rigged the first election in 1959 against Babawolowo. Until date, nothing has changed. So Britain is one of the biggest criminals that have used that to train the rest of the criminals to rig election, create many coups, and many Nigerians have never tasted a real election, whether in the local government or the state government or the state governor's election or the presidential election. 3 of these elections has never since 1999 been a pure election. It has been an election of intimidation. It has been an election of weaponry of thugs being used to kill men. We saw election ballot boxes that are being stolen by police officers, burnt down in Oshodi, in different parts of Nigeria. You can't call that an election. So if anybody is saying that you've ever had elections since 1999, you must be living in a different part of the world.
Sure. Look at the election. When the election in Nigeria, millions of votes from all this.
Again, you cannot use that to eye mark that those that are voting truly wants to remain inside a one Nigeria. We know that that is a fraud. Election in Nigeria has always been a fraud, and it will remain so. So this is the reason why we are saying that we do not want to be part of Nigeria.
States, PDP or APC states will get more.
Well, there's no difference between PDP and APC. We saw El Rufai just left APC, a terrorist shotman devil. All these are criminals, and everybody knows that. So election in Nigeria is not in an honest. You saw election in the UK last year, July. I went to vote. There was nobody intimidating me. I voted the pattern of who I wanted to vote for, and I voted those that I want to be in power so that we can chase away the next one. If the election comes again next year, it might be the other way around. But right now, I voted and were able to chase away the Conservative Party. I was not beaten at the ballot box. My ballot box were not stolen. They were not destroyed. Should you continue to vote every 4 years in Nigeria, there will be more debt. You will not get the right person in. Criminals will become the politicians, and they will intimidate you, and they will do whatever they can do. Even if they have to kill you, they will do so. And we know many people died since 1999 hoping that they can get an election. Even the freest election, we saw how that was turned around and thrown into the dustbin. 32 years, the criminal man called himself Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida is now coming out apologizing to Nigerians to forgive him for destroying the democracy of 1993. Even if Abiola was never going to be the right man, as at the time, he won the election. He was voted for by the Igbos, by the Yoruba. Every Nigerian voted for him. So you will never. So Nigeria is now at the verge of breakup, and we hope President Bola Tinubu is getting the message. There will be more tension, and there will be more activities of death. What happened in Abuja tonight is not just a mere thing that you can think of. They might tell you it's a CNG gas explosion. That is another terrorist explosion, because we know that terrorists use all manners of inflammable and everything to attack innocent Nigeria. May the souls of those that have died in Abuja tonight rest in peace. But you must hold Tinubu accountable for every death that continue to occur in Nigeria.
Millions of votes means Nigerians
are a country, and we are hoping that many Nigerians will now come out of their say and stop talking about saving a country called Nigeria. You're better off to have a new country where you can hold your politicians accountable. You can have a better future. But if you continue to push the agenda of one Nigeria, well, the question is, who truly are Nigerians? Because we know that Nigeria doesn't have a language. Nigeria doesn't have any land. Nigeria is of many nations. So when Gumi is talking about one Nigeria, we should again ask him, where did he get such information? Because we know that the agenda of the British or Britain has always been to keep us together, as it was said in this particular discussion after Jonathan left power. But one thing is, we will remind many Nigerians that if you like, agree now that there should not be any election again. We should be discussing how we need to break Nigeria, divide Nigeria, let everybody go their separate ways. But if you're thinking that because you love a Yoruba man, you want an Igbo man to be the president, the Hausa, the Fulani, because there's difference between Hausa and Fulani, what you will continue to get is criminal politicians like this man speaking some years back.
So
Senator Manso, can I just quickly clarify? Did I hear you say that you helped rig elections before now?
Let me tell you one thing. Yes, I did, because I'm now confessing the truth. Look, what do I mean? I don't have to go and change election, but you know, when you provide money, you give money to INEC boys to help you if they see any chance that they should favor you. You provide money to the security. All our elections in the past, I've been in this game for about 40 years.
These are the kind of election that you have been running. He has been in the game for 40 years. What is the reason why he has turned around to become repentant politicians? All your politicians are criminals, including the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are all criminals, and criminals will deceive with every means, as we saw Sheyi Tinubu spreading rice to the Fulani people in the north, because the Yoruba people that will take such rice will probably be stupid Yoruba people, because after 4 years, there will be no school fees, there will be no hospital. You'll continue to dream of having a quality healthcare, but you can never get it because you've sold yourself for 4 years for a plate of rice.
I tell you, each time, it's not necessarily when I'm contesting election, but when my party sponsors a candidate, I would like that candidate to win election. And what we used to do before, we make provision for INEC, we make provision for security, we make provision for even agents of other parties, you know, so that they will not, you know, raise any objection to whatever we're able to get. So whether I rig myself or not, by providing those resources, financial inducement to the officials, I am rigging election.
Do you think that we can diminish or remove that influence as 2019 approaches?
I believe so, because you see, if people are born again like me and they refuse to...
The question is, this was in 2019. We are now in 2025. Was the last election, for those of you listening, was the last election an honest election? Or was it just the same? Criminal politicians using all manners, thuggery, money, giving food, giving Indomie noodles, giving bicycle, telling people that things will be done. And yet, since 2019, it has even gone worse.
We, the players.
Who are the players? Tinubu, Atiku, El-Rufai, every single one of them, the players, from your governors to the local government. 774 local government is a shithole as anything called jungle. Nothing is working in all the local government, and it remains so because Nigeria is not honest to its citizens. It's a crime country, it's a crime scene, and whatever is a crime scene, we need to look at every nit of it, which is exactly why the Yoruba people, under the leadership of Professor Akintoye, have stated clearly that we cannot live in such country because it's having a big toll on us. So when we come at number 6, or number 3, systematic governance failures. Rather than the current administration to look at the issues affecting innocent Nigerians across board, is more worried about 2027. That means governance stopped in 2025. There's 2 more years to the end of the party that is currently in government, but they're already putting out their vehicles. They're already sharing rice in the north as his son continues to cry his head out that we are calling his father. Your father will be called on a daily basis, because we know the game of 2027 is what you're playing out. Because I'm not sure why you're going to the north to deceive the northerners again that your dad should be voted for, knowing fully well that your dad failed in the north because Nigeria is not one country. So when we look at number 3 of the, the response of Chief Sunday Igboho through myself, systematic governance failures. Igboho criticized the prevailing governance structure, citing bad governance. When people rig themselves in, you're never going to gain anything out of it. But their criminal international friends like the Shagoris and the criminals around the world will continue to become more powerful within a system of who belongs to us. That can no longer be tolerated. The Yoruba land must have a system that works for you, for me, regardless of your status. That's exactly how it is operated in the European country and the United Kingdom where I have lived. But in Nigeria, you cannot hold them accountable because criminals doesn't want you to hold them accountable. And if you dare say anything, your life will be at risk. So number 3, systematic governance failures. Igboho criticized the prevailing governance structure, citing bad governance and the inadequate healthcare facilities as indicator of a failing system. Not just healthcare, security, welfare, education, name it. None of these have worked in 25 years since we were told we return back to democracy. He argued that these systematic issues have left we, the Yoruba people, with no choice. We don't have any choice. Our choice is not Tinubu for 2027 because it's a crime scene. Our choice has never been for Tinubu to have been the president, but he decided because of his selfish interest, not because of the interest of those of the Yoruba people, because many Yoruba people are crying every day around Yoruba land. They can't go to their farm because terrorists are operating there. They can't have 3 square meals. They don't have good education. They don't have good health care. They cannot even leave Nigeria because many of them are being rejected, not because of anything. Many European citizens move around without being rejected to travel to any country of their choice, but because as a Nigerian, there's already a stigma. Even if you're going on a genuine visit, your visa will still be rejected. That can no longer be tolerated. And all these are issues that we say there's no more choice. The only choice now is the Yoruba self-determination, and that would happen in our lifetime. And that is exactly what we are pushing towards in the last 4 going to 5 years. But to seek an alternative path that ensures that their safety, prosperity, and cultural preservation, all these matters a lot. So when you listen to these criminal gangs, as he's saying, many of the politicians failed to change since 2019.
Unless we give before somebody will take, right? So don't give, and then we'll not get a taker. We'll not get a taker. Why? You don't even ask me why am I thinking this way. Look, I am tired of being seen as a criminal in the streets of the world because we are in Nigeria. You know, you assume that everybody is an innocent human being until it's proven otherwise. But once you are outside this country with a green passport and they say that you are a Nigerian, even if you are a pastor or you are an imam, they will assume that you are criminally minded or you have criminal tendencies.
So why should we be in a country where we are all targeted as criminals when we can have a Yoruba country, a Biafra country, a Ijaw country with new passport? Nobody then identify you anymore as a criminal, apart from if your country has indicated that you're a criminal and then you're already being on the list of those that they're looking for and you can be stopped. So there are criminals around the world, but people recognize them as the people, not as we that has more than too many call one country. Nigeria is not a one country, and it is high time that many Nigerians wake up from their slumber and stop talking about one Nigeria. Nigeria was not there when the Yoruba people have been living on that land for thousands of years. If we have to fight to take it back, we will do so. But before we fight, we will use all the means of our intellectual media to prepare you, because the night vigil is getting closer, and I hope many of you are preparing for the night vigil because it's going to get closer. Very, very close, I can assure you. The announcement of the night vigil will come very, very soon.
They come from. That must change.
Let's leave that criminal politicians because they're all the same. But let's now go back to listen more to the criminal terrorist calling himself Gumi, the head of terrorists in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, because we saw Buhari called all the Fulani around the southwest to come back to where Allah has given them the land. Allah has given them the land. I'm going to pause on that for now because I want to go quickly because of my time constraint. I'm moving with time tonight. This is Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Let me pick it from where Ibi Timothy Munisin. Many people have come out and say, Imam Yoruba, a man that we thought that was very honest with us, that we thought was loyal to Baba Akintoye and Igboho, I can categorically say that he is not honest. Chief Imam, Chief Imam Ile Yoruba, is not an honest man for the Yoruba cause. And I dare, if he comes out to challenge me tomorrow as he has done with other media, he dare not. As of one Taba respect one. I respect one based on interrupe. Mo sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Chief Imam Ìlọrin. OLAYOMI KOIKI ni mo jẹ́. Koikimedia. Ìní ní 19 March 2025. Kíyàn kan má sọ fún wa pé ká má sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Chief Imam. Kíyàn kan má sọ pé mọ Chief Imam tó àwa. Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn. Kí ni ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe dé Kútọ́nù láti lọ kí Baba Akintoye nígbà tí ìyàwó Baba Akintoye kú? That is number one. Àkọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Kí ni reason tí ìyàwó Baba Akintoye kú ní December 25, 2024? Wọ́n sì ìyàwó wọn ní February this year. Wọ́n lè dé Kútọ́nù láti lọ kí Baba Akintoye. Ṣé wọ́n tún lè wá sí Èkìtì láti wá bá wọn sin òkú? Kí nìdí? Ìyẹn number one. Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n fi ọ̀wọ̀ fún Baba Akintoye pé àwọn ni leader wa, àbáwọn làwọn tún claim páwọn ni leader gẹ́gẹ́ bí Yorùbá? Nítorí pé Baba Akintoye wà lẹ́yìn odi. Tí Baba Akintoye bá wà lẹ́yìn odi, ṣé leader méjì la máa ní? À ń pè yín ní Chief Imam. Ẹ lè tún máa pera yín ní national leader. Because national leader means that you are the one in charge. That means pé ẹ ti gboyè lọ́wọ́ Baba Akintoye nìyẹn. Ǹjẹ́ yín fi respect fún Baba Akintoye? Tẹ wá ń wá respect lọ́dọ̀ tiwa nísìn. Ǹjẹ́ yín respect Baba Akintoye? Ǹjẹ́ yín fún Baba Akintoye ní ọ̀wọ̀ tó yẹ kẹ́ fún wọn? Torí tó bá yẹ pé yín fún Baba Akintoye ní ọ̀wọ̀ tẹ́ fún wọn ni àwọ̀ ni máa jáde nísìn láti máa pè yín sí ẹni ẹ ṣe fídíò. Fídíò tẹ́ ṣe kò bá jẹ́ ní 5 years ago lẹ ṣe, kẹ́ ṣe ní 2 years ago. Problem tí yín nìyẹn, kò ṣe problem tiwa. Ẹ̀yin lẹ lọ upload fídíò yẹn fúnra yín lórí TikTok. Kí ni agenda tẹ́ fi lọ upload ẹ̀ lákọ̀ọ́kọ́? What is the agenda? Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ fi prove fáwọn tí wọ́n fún yín ní award tó ń pè ní Fúlàní? Because nígbà tẹ́ máa sọ nínú audio yín kan tí mo gbọ́, ẹ̀ náà àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lè fún yín ní award. No, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kọ́kọ́ ló fún yín ní award. Ìgbìrà bá fún yín ní award, ó yàtọ̀ sí Arẹwà. Àwọn Fúlàní ló fún yín ní award. Whether you want to argue with us or not, that is your own problem. Kò ṣe problem tèmi. Ẹ lè ṣe kọ́kọ́ fún any one of us. Ẹ wò wá dáadáa. Ẹ lè ṣe gbáì fún ìkọ̀kan nù wa. Kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè ṣe fún wa. Torí pé ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ lè sọ fún wa honestly kí ni ìdí tí fídíò tó wà lọ́wọ́ yín fún 5 years. Torí ẹ ń sọ pé 5 years lẹ ti ṣe ìlọ́tí fún yín láwọ́ọ̀dì yẹn àbí 4 years. Ẹ wá kọ́kọ́ tún gbé fídíò yẹn padà. Ìyẹn àkọ́kọ́. Let's first play out. Àwọn wo náà pè ní Arẹwà? Let me first prove who Arẹwà are to those of you that don't know. I don't think some of you know àwọn tó ń pè ní Arẹwà. Because àwọn Arẹwà ló fún yín ní award. Àwọn wo ni wọ́n pè ní Arẹwà? Arẹwà is an Hausa word meaning the north. Àwọn tó ń gbé ní òkè ọya kò ṣe ní ìsàlẹ̀. So tẹ́ bá gba award, tẹ́ dẹ̀ argue pé àwọn tó fún yín award yẹn ọmọ Yorùbá ni wọ́n, but Arẹwà ni wọ́n. Arẹwà ò dẹ̀ ń ṣe èdè ọmọ Yorùbá, èdè Hausa ni. Èdè Hausa Fúlàní. Torí pé kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Hausa mọ́. Hausa ti tán, kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Hausa mọ́. Everybody knows that. Wọ́n ti lé gbogbo Hausa lọ dànù. So tẹ́ bá wá ní wọ́n fún yín ní award. Àwọn Fúlàní gbé award lé yín lọ́wọ́ tó ń pè ní Arẹwà. The Arẹwà, according to the information here, says is the Hausa word meaning the north or the northerners. Wọ́n ní àwọn southerners. Wọ́n sọ pé àwọn Yorùbá. Yorùbá kọ́ ló fún yín award. Ẹ mú yẹn dání. And it is used to refer to the northern Nigeria. That means pé àwọn tó wà ní north. Lóòótọ́ a mọ̀ pé Kwara, ìdajì wọn, ọmọ Hausa Fúlàní ni wọ́n. Àbí Fúlàní rather, torí kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Hausa. But fún psyche àwa lè da brain wa rú. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ máa da brain àwọn tó wà nílé rú, àwa wà educated. Ìlú òyìnbó la wà gbé. A lè analyze gbogbo nǹkan. Eléyìí ò ṣe pé à ń bá yín, à ń bú yín. No, à ń béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ yín ni. Ẹ̀rẹ̀ tí à ń sá ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, fídíò tẹ́ ṣe yẹn kò tí clear. Mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mú bọ̀ lẹ́yọ kankan ni. Ẹ̀yin lẹ fọwọ́ ara yín upload ẹ̀. Èmi kọ́ mo bá yín upload ẹ̀. Ṣé wọ́n force yín upload ẹ̀ ni? Ṣó ní àdéhùn tẹ́jọ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn yẹn lẹ ṣe lọ upload ẹ̀ ni? So gbogbo award tẹ́ ti gbà rí, ẹ̀rí kankan upload. Èyí táwọn arẹwà fún yín, ìyẹn lẹ wá lọ upload ní die minute tá à ń sọ pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Ẹ mú yẹn dání. It is also the name of the Nigerian Queers Political and Social Cultural Association, the Arewa Consultative Forum. Ẹ mú yẹn dání. Now, tá bá sọ pé àwọn Arewa nínú Nàìjíríà, àwọn wo ló ń pè ní Arewa nínú Nàìjíríà? Àti pé ipa wo làwọn kó? Let's give you some of the latest updates from just new search. Northern Coalition protest plan against Akpabio irresponsible. Arewa resistance group. Àwọn Arewa ń push pé iṣẹ́ Akpabio gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò ní Senate pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ Natasha tó ń lọ. Ẹ kò mú yẹn dání. Resign and save Nigerians' image. Arewa youth. Ṣé èyí tó wá jẹ́ agbẹnusọ fáwọn Arewa? Then tó bá ní èèyàn wọ́n fi yín jẹ patron. Let's look at the meaning of patron online quickly. Tó bá sọ pé patron. If somebody is told that you are a patron because you have become their patron, kí lẹjọ fà, kí lẹjọ gbé, kí làdéhùn tẹjọ sọ tó fi fún yín ṣe patron? Because we know what it means when people are called patron. What does the word patron? A person chosen, named, or honored as a special guardian, protector, or supporter. You are a supporter of Arewa. Àìtí sọ kí ni Arewa ní ṣe pẹ̀lú Yorùbá, a kò ṣe ń sọ pé Arewa, àìtí mú kí ni àjọṣepọ̀ Arewa àti Yorùbá. Ṣé àjọṣepọ̀ tó dán mọ́rán ni? Tẹ́ bá bá Yorùbá ṣe tó wá láti other part of Southwest. Kódà bó jẹ́ Yorùbá tó ń gbé ní Sokoto ló bá fún yín ní award tó jẹ́ pé ọmọ Yorùbá ni wọ́n, àmà ní Yorùbá ni wọ́n, but àwọn tó fún yín ní award yìí, àwọn Fúlàní ni wọ́n. Ẹ dẹ̀ lè jáde kẹ́tí ẹ̀ tí defend yẹn. Ẹ̀ ń attack àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ sọ pé wọ́n pè yín síta bí ọmọ ọjọ́ mẹ́jọ. Ìbéèrè tèmi bí ní sí ni pé lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ǹjẹ́ yín fi ọ̀wọ̀ fún Bàbá Akíntóyè? Ìjọ́ wo gan lẹ́yìn ti rí Bàbá Akíntóyè gbẹ̀yìn? Ìjọ́ wo lẹ́yìn ti lọ sí Kútọ́nù pé kẹ́tẹ̀ lọ rí Bàbá Akíntóyè kẹ́ lọ yọjú sí Bàbá Akíntóyè, whether ẹ rówó mọ́tò àbẹ́ ẹ rówó mọ́tò, because at least gbà tèmi wà ní Kútọ́nù wọ́n mú iye èèyàn. George Akínọlá wá sí Kútọ́nù kò ń ṣe méjì kò ń ṣe mẹ́ta. Mo rẹ̀ rò pé wọ́n fún lówó mọ́tò. Kódà ó wá níjọ́ kan ìpàdé tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe Bàbá Akíntóyè láti sọ fún kó máa padà wá ní. Ó tún padà wá. Èmi wà ní Kútọ́nù nígbà tó ṣẹlẹ̀ kò ṣe pọ́ sọ fún mi. Kéèyàn travel láti odindi Èkó wá sí Kútọ́nù. Nǹkan tó fẹ́ wá ṣe kò lè rí ṣe, wọ́n tún ní kó padà wá. Kò bá Bàbá Akíntóyè jiyàn, ó padà wá. Ìjọ́ wo ni Chief Máàmù Ìlọrin? Ìjọ́ ẹni kan ṣe fídíò àwọn ìbéèrè tí mò ń bi wọ́n yìí, wọ́n bá rọ̀ bá wa answer ẹ̀. Níjọ́ wo lẹ ní kẹrí Ìgbòho? Níjọ́ wo lẹ rí Bàbá Akíntóyè gbẹ̀yìn? Ǹjẹ́ bá Bàbá Akíntóyè sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà tí ìyàwó wọn kú? Then irú ibo lẹ́yìn wà nígbà tí wọ́n ń ṣe òkú? Ṣé ẹ travel ni? Ṣé lọ Mẹ́kà ni? Ṣé lọ Umura ni? Ṣé ẹ sí ilé ni? Because a mọ̀ pé lọ sí party nígbà tí Gani Adams ń ṣe birthday party. So tí Bàbá Akíntóyè tíyàwó wọn kú, tí Bàbá Akíntóyè dẹ̀ wá sí Kútọ́ tó gbéra láti Kútọ́nù, èmi tẹ̀lé Bàbá Akíntóyè dé Èkìtì. Èmi àti Bàbá Akíntóyè àjọ dé Èkìtì ni. Àdẹjọ́ padà sí Kútọ́nù ni. So kí ló wá dé tẹ́yìn náà lè wá láti Ìlọrin? Àkókò tí sínú àwẹ̀ nígbà yẹn tá bá ní pé àwẹ̀ ló dé yín mọ́lẹ̀. àbẹ̀wà nú alúwà ni ṣé ẹ sure pé ẹ wà honest pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè ní kẹ́ wà honest pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ní tó bá wọn olúkálukú ló lè ṣe èèyàn lè deceive anybody gbogbo ẹni tó bá deceive wa nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tá à ń ṣe Yorùbá nation yìí kò bá jẹ́ mi Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ni mo bá ń deceive ọmọ Yorùbá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò gbọ́dọ̀ gbè mí ó gbọ́dọ̀ yọ̀ mí ṣubú ni including ẹ̀yin náà ó gbọ́dọ̀ yọ̀ ẹ̀yin náà ṣubú ni torí pé ìtagbédání tó wúwo gan ni kò ń ṣeré rárá táwọn kan bá fi ń ṣeré èmi ò fi ṣeré ó bẹ́tà kíyàn má darapọ̀ mọ́ wa kó máa wò wá lọ́nkán kó máa bú wa kó máa sọ̀rọ̀ sí wa but ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń jẹ nínú ẹ̀ torí gbogbo àlà ń jẹ nínú ẹ̀ ìyẹn ò lè máa ṣe kó má jẹ nínú ẹ̀ lóòótọ́ but kẹ wá jẹ nínú ẹ̀ yẹn kẹ wá fífi deceive wa yẹn ìyẹn là fẹ́ gbọ́ because at the end of the day ẹ̀ náà ń ṣe Yorùbá nation ẹni tó jẹ́ leader wa ní communication kankan pẹ̀lú ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ ń claim leader Yorùbá nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹ̀ ń bọ́ Ọbásanjọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ń bá gbogbo wọn sọ̀rọ̀ arán yín ṣẹ́ ni Ọbásanjọ́ lórí burúkú bàbá òfò àbẹ́ ti gbàgbé ní ṣẹ́jọ́ àfi sọ̀rọ̀ Ọbásanjọ́ ló lọ sí Benin Republic ló ní kó má fi Ìgbòho sílẹ̀ Ọbásanjọ́ lọ sí Benin Republic lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta ó sọ fún President Patrick Talon pé kó má fi Ìgbòho sílẹ̀ Ọbásanjọ́ ilẹ̀ yìí wà ló ń bá ṣe meeting ta ló rán yín ṣẹ́ tàbẹ̀ yín ṣẹ́ ni àbẹ́ máa ní ẹ̀gbọ́ náà because leader kan ní ẹ lè sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́ ẹ wà wí ẹ̀ pé Ọbásanjọ́ lọ sí Benin Republic ó sọ fún Talon pé kò gbọdọ̀ fi Ìgbòho sílẹ̀ Ọbásanjọ́ ilẹ̀ wa ló ń bá ìpàdé kí lẹ́jọ́ ń ṣe pẹ̀lú Ọbásanjọ́ lòun ò ṣe wọ́n ní Yorùbá-ness Nigerian-ness lòun ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ló máa kú sí níbi tó ti ń bèrè Nigerian-ness yẹn Yorùbá nation dẹ̀ máa jáde láyé níṣojú ayé ẹ̀ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ lọ múra sílẹ̀ tó bá fẹ́ dogun kó dogun ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa dá dúró tó bá máa di ogun kó di ogun ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa dá dúró torí kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa dá wa dúró inú ọdún ìdẹ́ ni kólúkálukú lọ múra sílẹ̀ ẹ lọ dira dáadáa ìbéèrè mo ṣì ń bi yín ẹ jẹ́ ká padà ẹ jẹ́ ká wo picture tí ẹni ẹ̀yà tó gbé fún yín ṣé nígbà tó ń gbé picture fún yín ẹ̀yin ò dáyàn mọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tẹ̀ dáyàn mọ̀ bóyá torí pé ẹ mọ ẹni tí ó wà nínú picture yẹn ẹ̀yin ò dẹ̀ lè béèrè wọn ò ṣe gbé picture tẹ̀yìn sínú frame yẹn kó gbé fún yín ó ṣe jẹ́ picture Amadu Bello lọ gbé sínú picture fẹ́yìn ó ṣe jẹ́ picture Amadu Bello ṣe mọ̀ tó ń pè lámàdù Bello ṣá ṣe mọ̀ pé gbogbo wàhálà táwa ń ṣe tá à ń ṣàìsùn tí gbogbo àjọ ń ṣàìsùn tẹ́yìn náà dẹ́ni bá wa ṣàìsùn ṣe mọ̀ who is Amadu Bello so tó bá gbé àwọ́ọ̀dù fẹ́yìn náà nísìnyí so kọ́kúkú gbé àwọ́ọ̀dù náà fún Ìgbòho kí Ìgbòho náà gbé àwọ́ọ̀dù lọ́wọ́ wọn náà torí tẹ bá ń defend àwọ́ọ̀dù yẹn àbátẹ̀rí kọ́ wá fún bàbá Akíntóyè náà láwọ́ọ̀dù ká lámọ́ àwọn tó ń gbé bọ̀ lórí don bastard ta ló ń pè ní Amadu Bello Shehu Usman Dan Fodio 15th of December 1754 ó jáde láyé ní 20 of April 1817 Uthman bin Muhammad Uthman bin Salih Haruna Muhammad Gadu Muhammad Sambo was a Fulani scholar ẹgbọ́n bíbá dáadáa yẹn ọmọ Yorùbá torí mo gbọ́ tí bàbá wa tó wà ní Belgium tẹ́ ń sọ pé káwọn èèyàn dákẹ́ kí àwọn kan máa ní ká dákẹ́ o Kóìkì lèmi o ẹ má ní ká dákẹ́ àwọn alamọ tá à ń fara rọ o bẹ́ẹ̀yàn bá ti fara rọ bẹ́ẹ̀yàn kan fi máa deceive wa bẹ́ẹ̀mi náà bá deceive yín kílẹ̀ kó yọ̀ mí kílẹ̀ kó gbé mi ṣubú kí n máa lọ kò sí nǹkan tí mo ṣe láyé ọ̀rọ̀ tá gbé dání ọ̀rọ̀ life and death ni Ìgbòho nìyẹn nísìn wọ́n pààyàn méjì sínú ilé ẹ̀ òkú ní Bọ́lá Tinubu ògbé fún wa chief mamu bá wa pariwo pé kọ́ bá wa gbókù síta ẹni ilẹ̀ ṣe kinní kan fún yàn kan nígbà tó mú ìyẹn la fi jẹ ni ìbéèrè tá à ń béèrè ni pé kí ló dé tẹ́ lọ upload ẹ̀ why did you upload it kí lẹ upload picture yẹn fúnra yín èdè náà àbí kí ni wọ́n ti fún yín ní frame èmi ọmọ kò sẹ́ni tó rí kí lẹ wá lọ upload ẹ̀ fún ẹ wá upload ẹ̀ tán àwa ń call yín out pé intẹ́ṣe yẹn kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹ wá ní pé ká má sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn olè ń sọ pé kó má sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn olọmọ yín tẹ́ ní kó má sọ̀rọ̀ we have to call you out we will call you out and we are doing so right now so tí jáde ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jáde kẹ́ wá ṣàlàyé fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá because the frame tẹ́ gbà yẹn has a lot of meaning and that meaning is what we are analyzing on a daily basis pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ láti àná. Ẹ jẹ́ ká continue. Arákùnrin tó ń pè ní Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio was a Fulani scholar, Islamic religious teacher, a poet, a revolutionary, and a philosopher who founded the Sokoto Caliphate and the ruler of his first caliphate. After the successful revolution, the Jamal gave him the title Amir al-Mumini, the commander of the faithful. He rejected the throne and continued calling to Islam. He was born in Gobi. Usman was a descendant of Torobi clans of the urbanized ethnic Fulani people living in the Hausa kingdom since the early 1400s. Tó fi lé gbogbo àwọn tó ń pè ní Hausa lọ́wọ́ pa gbogbo wọn dànù. Ẹ wá ní ká dákẹ́ pé àwọ́dì yẹn kò mean anything. It means a lot because àmọ́ bí tẹ́ wà. Because tẹ́ bá wà níbi tẹ́ wà ní ẹ̀yin lẹ́ máa jábọ̀ fún bàbá Akíntóyè because gbogbo wa ń jábọ̀ fún wọn ni. Àwọn tó believe in bàbá Akíntóyè wọ́n wò mí báyìí náà. Global directorate tó believe in bàbá Akíntóyè ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n wà London bí báyìí. Àwọn Yorùbá One Voice wọ́n jábọ̀ fún bàbá Akíntóyè bó ṣe fi gba Yorùbá Nation and dúró dè wọ́n. But what we are saying is that we are calling you out as a leader within the movement that has. So Oda, ṣé nísìnyí kí Ìgbòho náà kó lọ gba award lọ́wọ́ àwọn Fúlàní. Káwá kéwìn wá bá Ìgbòho upload ẹ̀. So káwọn èèyàn máa wá question me. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ question me. So if we are questioning you, you got to come out and clear yourself. Kò dẹ́ ṣe pé máa clear ara fún àbá ẹ máa lọ sí Kútọ́nù ni ẹ máa lọ clear pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè. Àwa náà wá láti abroad now. Àwa náwó èmi ṣẹ̀dí láti Africa ni ó lé tí mo sí mi náà ta fi dé kíní àwa travel 15 hours flight láti London gbé wa dé Kútọ́nù. Ẹ̀yin ò lè rin 15 hours dé Kútọ́nù. Ìjọ́ wo lẹ lọ Kútọ́nù gbẹ̀yìn? Níjọ́ wo gan lẹ bá bàbá Akíntóyè sọ̀rọ̀? Ìjọ́ wo lẹ́yìn àti bàbá Akíntóyè sọ̀rọ̀? Ṣé tẹ́ ń bá bàbá Akíntóyè sọ̀rọ̀ ṣá? Kò ń ṣe pé ká wà nínú group. Ẹ wà ní many groups. A máa ń rí nínú many groups. Ìyẹn kọ́ la fẹ́ jẹ. Kí ni relationship ẹ̀yin àti bàbá Akíntóyè? Mo ní kí ni relationship ẹ̀yin àti Igboho because I don't have to ask that. I am behind the scene. So tẹ́ bá ń sọ pé relationship ẹ̀yin àti Igboho mo fi yẹn sílẹ̀. Ìyẹn ní láti wà in the public domain. But relationship ẹ̀yin àti bàbá Akíntóyè, kí ni relationship yín? Ẹ jáde kẹ́ sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. If honest you are, tẹ́ dẹ̀ sọ pé wà nínú Ramadan, ẹ jáde kẹ́ sọ fún ẹ dẹ̀ ní láti Ramadan ò ní láti tán kẹ́ tó wá sọ̀rọ̀. Kí lẹ máa sọ pé Ramadan wà níta ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ náà. Ṣé Ramadan ní kí ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ ni? Ẹ jáde ẹ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. A fẹ́ gbọ́ kòdó ọ̀rọ̀. Torí pé many times làwa ti defend yín. Many times làwọn ọmọ wa ti caution ni wa pé bàbá yìí nǹkan kan right. Gbogbo ìgbà tó bá wá and push you away ni. And I've called you mo ṣe pé nínú ọdún yìí. Èmi àti ń ṣì sọ̀rọ̀ nínú ọdún yìí pé àwọn ọmọ yìí náà wọ́n rí níbì kan. Wọ́n náà wà confused. Ẹni kò síbi tó lè pè yín sí tẹ̀lé lọ. Ẹ ní láti lọ sí everywhere. Ìkílẹ̀ fẹ́ máa lọ káàkiri fún. Ẹ ní láti lọ sí everywhere. Because àwọn tẹ́ ń lọ bá yẹn, they are not for us. Àfi tó bá jáde tó bá sọ pé àwọn ṣe tiwa. Yes, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ò ní ṣe tiwa. A dẹ̀ máa force gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá débẹ̀ ni wọ́n fẹ́ bọ́kọ̀ tí ó lórí burúkú làwọn ọmọ Yorùbá míì tó máa pa gbogbo wa tán lọ́sẹ̀ máa náwọn ní tẹ̀lé wa. Òun ló ń pa wọ́n ní Àkúrẹ́ nísìnyí lójoojúmọ́. Wọ́n ń pa wọ́n ní Ọ̀yọ́. Wọ́n ń pa wọ́n lógùn state. Inflation ló ń pa gbogbo wa. Security ń pa gbogbo wa. Welfare ń pa gbogbo wa. Ṣé a máa wá dúró dáwọn lórí burúkú àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kan à nítorí pé wọ́n ti rẹ̀ dì? Ṣé a máa dúró dáwọn yẹn? A jẹ́ kó fo lórí burúkú tí wọ́n kọ́ fi kó bá wa. Àwọn ò lè dúró kó fi tí wọ́n kó bá wa náà. Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ló ń sọ̀rọ̀. Èmi àti ń ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ ní ọdún yìí. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ mi àti ń ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ náà? Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ rẹ ṣe ń bá bàbá Akíntóyè sọ̀rọ̀? Ṣé mi ní ṣe máa sọ fún pé kẹ́ pé bàbá Akíntóyè? Èmi ní ṣe máa pè yín pé ṣe ti pé bàbá Akíntóyè? I don't have to call you. Èmi ní nọ́mbà bàbá Akíntóyè lọ́wọ́. So tẹ́ bá wá sọ pé ní nọ́mbà bàbá Akíntóyè lọ́wọ́. Kí ló dé tẹ́yìn ò ṣe ní nọ́mbà bàbá Akíntóyè lọ́wọ́? Even George Akínọlá, like I said, èmi àti George Akínọlá ṣèpàdé ní Kútọ́nù. Ìbáwọn èèyàn rí picture yẹn. Kí ló dé tẹ́yìn náà ṣe wá sí Kútọ́nù? Àbẹ̀mọ̀ náà rí mi ní Kútọ́nù. Ẹ ṣáà rí mi ní Kútọ́nù. Arákùnrin tá à ń pè ní Amadu Bello yìí tí fọ́nrán tá à ń wò tí gbogbo wa rí fọ́nrán yẹn Amadu Bello gbogbo wa la rí picture Amadu Bello. Ta ni wọ́n ń pè ní Amadu Bello? Irú èèyàn wo gangan lòun? Ahmadu Bello, ta ni èèyàn tó ń pè ní Ahmadu Bello? Sir Ahmadu Bello, famously known as the Saldana of Sokoto, was a conservative Nigerian statesman who was one of the leading northern politicians in 1960, and he served as his first and the only premier from 1954 until his assassination in 1966. Wọ́n ṣe gbé picture bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ kan gbé síbẹ̀ kan gbé wá fún yín. Ẹ rò pé àwọn tó gbé wá, ẹ rò pé wọ́n mọ tán ṣe ni, wọ́n mọ tán ṣe. Tẹ́ bá ti ṣiṣẹ́ dáadáa lóòótọ́ nínú Yorùbá nation. Tẹ́yìn bá wá jẹ́ ẹni tó honest. Nígbà tá a ti jọ gbogbo wájọ, everybody was doing different things. Nígbà tí Yorùbá nation dé, a lot of us started falling out of many things tá à ń ṣe. Èmi ò ẹ mọ ọjọ́ tèmi ti dé Nigerian embassy gbẹ̀yìn ni. The last time tí mo lọ was when I went to renew my passport. That's when I went there. Mo lọ renew passport ni. I had no more business there. And I had access to the embassy on a daily basis. Nígbà tí mo wà nínú Nigerian community. Ẹ rò pé èmi náà lè máa wọnú embassy lọ kó di pé mi àtàwọn PDP kájọ máa lọ jókòó kájọ máa lọ lábẹ́. Ẹ rò pé àwọn tó ń ṣe APC PDP ní London ni. Àwọn tó tẹ̀ jẹ́ PDP kan tó mọ̀ mí dáadáa. Tó yẹ pé tí bá pè wọ́n nísìn lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ lọ́ máa ní kí n máa bọ̀. We kept away from every one of them. Àwọn tàbá lè bá sọ̀rọ̀ kan bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ but far away. Kí APC wá pè mí nísìn kọ́ wọn náà wọ́n fún mi láwọ́d kí wọ́n á gbé yẹn sórí social media. Àwọn èèyàn ní question mi pé mélòó ló ń ṣe ń bẹ̀ Koiki? Ìwọ kan náà ló ń gbariwo Yorùbá nation. Ìwọ kan náà ló tún ṣe APC. Ṣó make sense? Ṣó máa ṣe ẹ̀ make sense? Àwọn tá lè jẹ́ ọmọ kékeré gan sẹ̀. Ṣé PDP lè fún mi láwọ́d nísìn kí wọ́n á gbé sórí social media? Àbí kémi tẹ̀ gbà wọ́d lọ́wọ́ wọn? Kọ́ wá gbé picture Àtíkù lórí burúkú tèmi ń bú lójoojúmọ́. Àbí kọ́ gbé picture Tinubu kí wọ́n gbé picture Tinubu kí wọ́n fi ya picture kí wọ́n ní ọmọ wa ni kì í ṣe dìbẹ́. Wọ́n pẹ́ kí ìdí ẹ̀ kó já dànù. Àdúrà tèmi ni pé kí ìdí ẹ̀ kó já dànù náà ni torí pé a sọkun títí wàhálà dẹ̀ ń bọ̀. Wàhálà tó kó rẹ̀ sí problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. Kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni kankan tó máa bá bẹ̀bẹ̀. Ní tó bá wọn àwọn ọmọ Rivers State ní kó ṣe fún Tinubu. So this is the message fún ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ sọ pé ká fi chief imam sílẹ̀. Fi chief imam sílẹ̀. Torí investment náà lọ lórí chief imam. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe invest lórí èmi náà invest lórí chief imam. Chief imam bẹ́ẹ̀ gbádùn. Gbogbo tó bá dẹ̀ sọ lórí chief imam yes kò sí tí mo mọ̀ lẹ́yìn bẹ́ẹ̀. So kí èèyàn kankan má jáde kó má sọ fún wa pé ká shut up. Gbogbo ìyá wa I respect yín ẹ má kájọ wojú ara wa torí ibi tá dé life tèmi wà at stake lórí movement yìí. Èmi mo mọ tí mo fara rọ́. So kí èèyàn kankan má jáde kí èèyàn kankan má pè mí. Chief imam ẹ ní láti pè mí ẹ lọ sí Kútọ̀nù kẹ́ lọ yanjú ẹ̀. Tẹ́ bá ti yanjú ẹ̀ ní Kútọ̀nù then kẹjọ ṣe press statement pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè ká mọ bí tẹ́ dúró sí because a ti wà ní ojú agbami láwà àdẹ̀rín yín fín and call yín out ni and we have the right to call you out because you're a leader. So kí àwọn kan máa pè mí lẹ́yìn program pé Koiki àwọn tẹ́ bá pè máa báńkì fóònù mọ́ ilé tí ni o mo trust anybody mo sọ fún yín o mo trust anybody yàtọ̀ sí mọ́sí mi àti ìyàwó mi àti Igboho àti bàbá Akíntóyè I don't trust anybody because èmi ni mo mọ tí mo fara rọ́ mo trust anybody o anybody lè gbà bọ̀dẹ̀ fún mi o anybody lè pa mí o ẹ̀ fún mi lówó yàn mí lẹ́ni tí no ìtàgbé dání is about life and death àwa dẹ̀ ti sign mo ṣeré pẹ̀lú movement yìí o kí àwọn kan má rò pé mo ṣeré o mo ṣeré èmi ò ṣeré pé àwọn ìyàwó mi mọ̀ mi o mo sọ fún wọn categorically ni mo ṣeré pẹ̀lú movement yìí o tẹ̀bá àwọn tó ń ṣeré pẹ̀lú movement àwọn ọlọ́run ṣeré àwọn ọlọ́mọ tó ṣe èmi fẹ́ kí Yorùbá kó lọ ní tó bá dẹ̀ gbà ní kó máa gbà mo ti sọ mọ̀ sí mi ò láì kí máa sọ mo ní tó bá fẹ́ dogun kó dogun ẹni máa kú ló máa kú ẹni tó máa yè ló máa yè Tinubu ọ̀dẹ̀ lè fi wá kò lè hold wa responsible pé ká má kúrò ní Nàìjíríà wọ́n bíbá bẹ́ẹ̀ dání mo sọ is either we dialogue or we go with war ìkànnì méjèèjì ni kọ́mọ Yorùbá lọ bí wọn dáadáa àṣeré o ọ̀rọ̀ eré kọ́lá ń ṣe lórí platform o ẹ̀ ń bá àwọn family Arẹwà ẹ̀ ń bá wọn ya picture àwọn Arẹwà tó ń tako Yorùbá nation àwọn Arẹwà tó ń bú wa àwọn Arẹwà ṣèbí Gumi ló ń sọ fún wa pé terrorist nísìn ẹ̀yin ò ṣe jáde nísìn kẹ́ attack Gumi ẹ̀yin ò ṣe jáde kẹ́ attack Gumi pé Gumi ó ṣe lè máa pa wá Yorùbá ní terrorist and I hope that you will do that because àti sọ fún yín nísìn ẹ kọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ jáde kẹ́ attack wọn láàárọ̀ ọ̀la kẹ́ ṣe fídíò jáde pé Gumi tó ń pè wá ní terrorist ọmọ àlè nìyẹn káwò bí alóòótọ́ ni ẹ̀tẹ̀ ń bá wa ṣe Yorùbá nation gan sef. Ahmadu Bello àwọn Arewa kí ni àjọṣepọ̀ wọn gbogbo ìgbà ni wọ́n attack Yorùbá nation tá bá ti sọ pé nǹkan kan báyìí olórí burúkú ọmọ Tinubu gan wọ́n attack ẹ̀ ọ̀dẹ̀ kò ní làákàyè àtẹ̀rò pé yẹn kàwé ni tí bàbá ẹ̀ bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé kò ó ní skọ́in lórí ṣèbí ó yẹ kóun tẹ̀ ní onílàákàyè ẹ̀ ń lo the same template ẹ̀ ń kó rẹ̀ sí ẹ̀ ń lọ́nkọ fún wọn ní north ẹ̀ ń kó rẹ̀ sí ẹ̀ lọ́nkọ fún wọn ní north ẹ̀ rò pé àwọn ará north stupid táwọn ọmọ Yorùbá bá stupid àwọn ará north ò stupid. ẹni tó ń fún baba Chief Imam láwọ̀d ẹ gbọ́ átíkù tó jáde this was ẹ̀wọ̀n kò journalist làwa àwa máa fún yín ní fact ilé ìrìnsẹ̀ pé àwọn àtàkì wọn à ń sọ fact ni kí àwọn kan máa pè mí mo ti sọ fún yín nísìnyí o is either you watch it and you digest it or you leave me alone tẹ́ bá fún mi àṣì máa gbà tẹ́ bá fún wa mọ́ bó jẹ́ ìyàwó mi ni màá ní kó yá mi lówó ticket pé mo ní délé yẹn rọ́lẹ̀ pa ẹ máa délé mò ń bọ̀ bó jẹ́ kí n sọ fún Ìgbòho ní ara ticket máa máa lọlé ní Vanguard newspaper ti 2021 Arewa youth tí Chief Imam náà fáwọn láwọ́d ní 5 years ago ẹ jẹ́ ká play back 5 years ago was when ẹ̀yin tẹ́ mọ máa ṣe sáré fún mi ní figure 5 years ago was when tàbá sọ pé 5 years ago when was 5 years ago 5 years ago will be 2020 ká tẹ̀ sọ pé 2019 ambọ̀sibọ̀sí 2020 so Chief Imam claim pé 5 years ago lọ fáwọn láwọ́d àbí àwọn èèyàn wá fún ilé award ní 2020 in a genuine way ká tẹ̀ sọ pé genuinely it's okay èèyàn lè gbà pé ẹ lè má ní understanding ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá a ṣe ń ṣàlàyé báyìí nísìn the same àwọn olórí burúkú Arewa wọ́n wá ń sọ fún àwa ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n ránṣẹ́ sí wa ní 2021 March 19 article yẹn wà lórí Vanguard and this is the headline Arewa youth gave Igboho ultimatum to move Yoruba out of the north ẹ gba award lọ́wọ́ wọn ní 5 years ago ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ tọ́jú award yẹn sínú ilé àwọ̀ ọmọ ẹ lè sọ pé ẹ gbọ́ nígbà yẹn nígbà tí because gbogbo any message táwọn Arewa bá fi attack wa la fi ń jáde la fi ń attack wọn padà ǹjẹ́ yìí jáde lẹ attack wọn padà ní 2021 yìí pé àwa tá à ń campaign fún Yorùbá nation ẹ̀ ń sọ fún wa pé àbí kò fi da fún gbogbo yín ni ká pa gbogbo yín dànù kẹ́yìn jáde bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́sọ́ ọmọkọ ẹ dákẹ́ ó wá di 2025 ẹ wá lọ sórí TikTok yín ṣé mi mo bá yín upload ẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ upload ẹ fúnra yín because ìyá wa kan pè mí lálẹ́ yìí wọ́n náà sọ pé ilẹ̀ upload ẹ fúnra yín ṣé nígbà tẹ́ upload ẹ yẹn ṣé ìgbà tẹ́ upload ẹ yẹn ẹ rí pé tẹ́ fẹ́ upload yẹn kò ń ṣe nǹkan tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation ṣé yẹn ní ṣe pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation Arewa youth gave Igboho ultimatum to move Yoruba out of the north by Ibrahim Hassan Wuye. This was March 19, 2021, 1 year after the Igboho Leleyo. The Arewa Youth Assembly has said that since Sunday Igboho has declared Yoruba nation, saying they will no longer accommodate and accept the presence of the Northerners, he should, in the next 72 hours, evacuate his people from the north, or they will help him in doing so. In a statement signed by Muhammadu Saliu Danlami Omofulani under the Arewa auspice, Arewa Youth Assembly, níjọ́ Jímọ̀ lọ́nà máa issue àwọn ìjọ́ Jímọ̀ lọ́nà máa pass message tí wọn. Ẹ̀yin náà dẹ̀ jáde níjọ́ Jímọ̀ kẹ́ sọ fún wọn pé kò ní dá fún wọn ní ṣoríire. Ẹ̀yin dákẹ́. Ẹ wá náà ń pè yín nísàn à ń pè yín. No, ṣé ká fi yín sílẹ̀? Ká fi yín sílẹ̀. Gbogbo táwọn ọmọ yẹn sọ nísìn ṣé kò ti play out? Àlùkà pè mí títí màá ní káwọn ọmọ yẹn shut up. Wọ́n sì pè mí nínú ọdún yìí. Gbogbo wọn. Thank you Jesus. Every one of them. Bàbá Koiki kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Àríṣìfùmá pẹ̀lú àwọn kan kò yé wa. Ṣé báwọn dúpẹ́ ní tìrì ṣe tí wọ́n nísìn kó ta ló dá sọ́rọ̀ wọn? Tẹ bá kúkú mọ̀ pé ẹ fẹ́ bá bàbá Akíntóyè ṣe. Ẹ sọ fún wa pé ẹ fẹ́ bá bàbá Akíntóyè ṣe. À ń mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin náà dá dúró ẹ̀ ń ṣe Yorùbá nation ti yín. Victor Taiwo bá bàbá Akíntóyè ṣe ó dẹ̀ òun ṣà lọ rí bàbá Akíntóyè at some point kò bá bàbá Akíntóyè ṣe àìmọye àwọn tó bá bàbá Akíntóyè ṣe bọ̀bọ̀ ṣe fẹ́ gba country làwa ń dúró ẹni tó bá bíbà bẹ́ẹ̀ dákẹ́ nìṣó nílé nínú gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ń sọ pé ń ṣe Yorùbá nation ẹni tó bá bí fàdẹ̀ ẹ̀dá ẹnìṣó ní Nàìjíríà ẹ̀tọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹni tó bá bíbà bẹ́ẹ̀ dánú gbogbo yín mo ní dárúkọ ìyá yín ẹni tó bá bíbà bẹ́ẹ̀ dá tẹ́lẹ̀ ń ṣe Yorùbá nation tẹ́ ẹ̀ dúró ti bàbá Akíntóyè ẹnìṣó nílé kájọ pàdé ní Nàìjíríà torí àwa ń bọ̀ nílé kò sẹ́ni tó máa dá wa dúró èmi àti Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ ó kù díẹ̀ ẹ̀ ní kúure bomb bastard ẹni ẹ̀ ṣe Yorùbá ní ṣe jókòó sínú group ẹ̀ jókòó sínú kákúkú mọ̀ pé iná bá wá ṣe bọ̀kẹ́ wa máa deceive wa ẹ wà pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho ẹ wà pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè ẹ wà pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè bàbá Akíntóyè sọ̀rọ̀ ìyàwó bàbá Akíntóyè kú ẹ wá sí òkú bàbá ìyàwó wọn àbí rí àmọ́ orí yín àbí ẹ̀yin tí mi ṣe rí chief máa mú bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe bá wa tẹ́tẹ̀ ráṣọ́ṣá ṣe rànkárá ẹ̀yin diaspora máa yìí kan kó fún yín ní any pressure kankan ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ a wà lórí ìrìn àjò tó dá láwà kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó máa dàrú ní last minute ẹ túbọ̀ máa fàdúrà tiwa lọ́wọ́ ẹ máa fàdúrà ẹ máa fi kíṣọ Ọlọ́run kó máa ṣọ́ gbogbo wa Ọlọ́run ló ń ṣọ́ èmi àti Ìgbòho ló ń ṣọ́ gbogbo wa àtẹ̀yìntẹ̀ ń comment àtẹ̀yìntẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa a máa délé lérí mo ní Tinubu ò lè dá wa dúró ìsídà ká negotiate àbí kájọ fà kọ́ta máa fàdélẹ̀ bàbá délé ràn nísìnyí ti lọ olórí burúkú yẹn olórí mo tẹ̀rí picture tí màá tiẹ̀ tó yà tó wá sí ilé Ìgbòho 4 years ago mo post ẹ̀ ó dà pé gbogbo ilẹ̀ rí Adéníran lórí àṣegbogbo táyì tó ń bá wa ṣe yẹn àṣebọ́n bá ó yẹ kí ti dá sídì sí lórí nígbà yẹn ni ó yẹ kó ti kú dànù ká jòkó ẹ̀ fáwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ kọ́ máa gbókù ẹ̀ lọ́kọ́ lọ sí wèrè dànù àṣọ lórí burúkú èèyàn ni Adéníran èmi ò tí bu yín o ṣífù máa mo ń pè é ní o pé àwọn Arẹwà tẹ̀yìn sọ yẹn ní March 19 2021 wọ́n ránṣẹ́ sí Ìgbòho tàwa Ìgbòho tó fẹ́ pa lẹ́yìn wá ń sọ nísìnyí pé ká dákẹ́ Ìgbòho tó ń gbé ní Kútọ̀nù ṣé Kútọ̀nù wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí ilé Ìgbòho ẹ ṣáà kí n ra dákẹ́ báyìí náà ṣé Kútọ̀nù wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí ilé Ìgbòho nígbà tó tẹ̀ mú Ìgbòho ǹjẹ́ tẹ̀ lọ yọjú wò rárá mo ń béèrè ní oṣù fún máa ìjẹ́ yìí tẹ̀ láǹfààní àti lọ yọjú wo Ìgbòho ní Kútọ̀nù àbẹ́kọ̀ ń ṣàdúrà fún láti lọrin bẹ́ẹ̀ nígbà tó mú ṣe Sunday Ìgbòho ǹjẹ́ tẹ̀ lọ sí Kútọ̀nù rárá torí mo rò pé mo gbọ́ pé wá bí a mo dẹ̀ bí a bá tún bèèrè lọ́wọ́ chief ǹjẹ́ yìí lọ Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù gan tí mo lẹ́ẹ̀kan kan ti máa ń tẹ̀sẹ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi lójú mo ní nọ́mbà Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa ni Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù travel to Benin Republic ó tún ya pépà gan fún Ìgbòho ẹ̀yin wa náà bá wa ṣe Yorùbá nation ìyàwó lídà wa kú ẹ̀yin ò wá sí Kútọ̀nù wá kí wọn àwọn diaspora dẹ́ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ bá pe Sami Japan á fún yín lówó tẹ́ máa fi dé Kútọ̀nù mo mọ orí èèyàn tó jẹ́ tẹ́ bá pe Sami Japan pé mo fẹ́ dé Kútọ̀nù á send owó sí yín ẹ̀ dé Kútọ̀nù ẹ wọ plane gan ni ẹni wọ mọ́tò ìyàwó bàbá yẹn kú tó dá bẹ́ẹ̀ torí èmi ò gbọ́ pé ẹ wá sí Kútọ̀nù bàbá yẹn tún wá àwa tún gbé bàbá yẹn agbedékìtì ẹ̀yin ò tún wá sékìtì ó kù díẹ̀ o so in the statement because I want to go back to Sheikh Gumi olórí burúkú and I'm working with the time ilẹ̀ dẹ̀ ti ṣú àwọn ọmọ mi ti sùn so ìyàwó mi dẹ̀ náà ó ń sùn lọ́wọ́ in a statement signed by Muhammad Saliu Dalami Speaker Arewa Youth Assembly issued on Friday. The youth described as unfortunate that Sunday Igboho would at a press conference be quoted as saying enough is enough, that the time for Yoruba nation is now and he will no longer accommodate and accept the president of the Northerners. Tebaranti, this was when I was in Nigeria in April. Nígbà tá a ṣe wà pẹ̀lú àwọn Ninas. Ẹ wò gbà yẹn tó bá yẹ pé gbogbo àti forward àti support àti lọ. Olórí burúkú kìíní kò bá tẹ̀ má láǹfààní àti wọlé sí wa lára náà Dúpẹ́ Onítìrì ní 2021. Ìgbòho náà máa lọ sí bọ́dà ìlàlàlà olólólólólólò ẹnu ẹni gbogbo àjọ wà báyìí nísìn Ọlọ́run kó wa yọ àṣìṣe ni Tinubu wa máa ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn tó kù táwa máa fi lọ́n tiwa torí àṣìṣe tó fẹ́ mú yẹn òun ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nísìn pẹ̀lú Rivers State àwọn èèyàn fojú ẹ̀ wọn ṣége bánsáánì ó kù díẹ̀. So chief man ẹ̀yin lẹ́ni section ní fídíò tí mo ṣe and everything I said èmi kọ́ lẹ máa respond sí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ní kẹ́ respond sí ẹ lọ sí Kútọ́nù kẹ́ lọ bá Bàbá Akíntóyè. Bàbá Akíntóyè ràn wá ṣẹ́ o. I am a journalist. I am one of those fighting for this cause. Ẹ̀yin náà life yín wà at stake. Àmọ́ yẹn life tèmi gan náà wà at stake. It doesn't matter whether mo wà nílé mo sí nílé. Àìmọ̀ ṣé Saudi Arabia ò pa journalist wọn sí Turkey ni. Inú embassy lọ pa sí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, inú embassy lọ pa sí. When I was going to the embassy, tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ lẹ́nìí, Igboho did not want me to go. Mo ní kò lè sí nǹkan kan tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Igboho ní tí kò bá ṣẹlẹ̀, ó máa dé UK within 12 hours. Ó pẹ́ jù, nǹkan á bàjẹ́. Nígbà tí mo lọ sí embassy. Igboho ní kí n má lọ, mo ní máa lọ. Ó ní tó bá mú mi sílẹ̀ ńbẹ̀ yẹn, onírẹ́rẹ́ máa rún. Ẹ yà fi tó kù sílẹ̀. Ẹ ní ṣoríire, ẹ rò pé à ń ṣeré ni. So take care ẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa ń sọ kábàkábà. Táwa kan bá gbé life wa sórí ìtagbé dání àfi ṣeré o. Tàbá wá ṣe program tá sọ dẹ́fẹ̀ níjọ́ mi èdè kọ́ là ń ṣe o. Yorùbá nation is serious gan. Wọ́n pààyàn méjì sínú ilé Ìgbòho, wọ́n lé bàbá yẹn kúrò nínú ilé láti 3 years. Ìgbòho lè má fẹ́ dánú ilé ẹ̀ mọ́. Mo dé sókà yẹn báyìí mo sunkún sójú ni. Mo dé sókà máa fi ìtókù sílẹ̀. Mo sunkún ni. Pé inú ilé Ìgbòho lórí báyìí. Kò ṣe pé kò wọ́ òkè o, ẹ má get me wrong o. But imagine ilé ọlọ́lá, ilé olówó wọ́n wà níta. Ẹ ní kúre gbogbo ẹ̀yin politicians yẹn. Ẹ má pè Tinubu kájọ divide Nigeria. Ẹ ní kúre ni mo sọ fún yín. Mo wo ilé yẹn báyìí. 2021 ni mo wọnú ilé yẹn gbẹ̀yìn. Mo dénú ilé yẹn ní ilé tí mo lọ sí Nàìjíríà yìí. Mo kàn wo gbogbo ẹ̀ báyìí pé what the fuck. Olówó wá jókòó sí Kútọ́nù. Patrick Talon, thank you so much. President Patrick Talon, once again, thank you so much for standing against the truth, for accepting the truth that Igboho is not a criminal and giving him the privilege to still remain in Benin Republic. No, ibo ni Igboho Obama wa. Sako wà ní Germany, ẹ mọ̀ pé òtútù yẹn pọ̀ lẹ́ǹkan tó bá fi wálé kò ní wá síbi tó máa dé sí. Ṣé Ghana ló máa lọ? Ẹ imagine tó bá yẹ pé Benin Republic kò accept pé ká wà níbẹ̀. Ìlérè kò ṣe padà lọ. So the only intermediary is Benin Republic. Mo kí President Talon gan, and I still owe you many videos to congratulate you and say thank you so much. Because the Fulani, the same Arewa people, tí bàbá yìí gbà wọ́ọ̀dù lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, ó dà pé ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ó dà pé àtàbá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ máa rò pé àsọdùn là ń sọ. The same Arewa tó fẹ́ pa Ìgbòho ni chief máa ń gbà wọ́ọ̀dù lọ́wọ́ wọn. Ẹ wá ní ká dákẹ́. No, a máa dákẹ́. Part 1 lélẹ̀. Ó dà pé mo rí pé àwọn tó kù part 2 sí wà. Part 10 a lè gbé dé part 10. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. Koikimedia ló ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ bá mi pín ọ́díò yẹn. Ẹ bá mi gbé kó dọ́dọ̀ ṣífù máa fúnra wọn. Èmi ò ní láti sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí wọn kó wà lọ́dọ̀ wọn kẹ́ bá ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí wọn. Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ni mo jẹ́. So let's come back to olórí burúkú ṣe Gumi, bomb bastard. Gumi, we have told you again and again that we are not Fulani. We are Yoruba people. We don't want to, if you want to keep Nigeria, keep Nigeria. We don't want to save Nigeria. If Nigeria like, let it die today. If Nigeria like, let them pump all the oil pipeline. It's not my problem. That's the problem of those in the river to deal with that. Because at the end of the day, Yaradua brought peace before he died. Gave them amnesty. Tinubu has gone now to wake them up. So if they like, let them bomb everywhere there. It's not my problem. I am a journalist. If they bomb it now, at least 2 places have been bombed now. We will do a program on that some other time. But for those of us that it will put us in problem. Because those people now that you have removed their governor, whether the governor is good, is not good, you two are not a good president. You're a terrible president. You know that. But what you have done now is you have brought in a military. And Kemi Olunloyo was decoding it. A day before, Kemi Olunloyo said there's a military coup coming. Everybody was asking, where? Stupid Nigerians. They can't think out of their nose. Kemi Olunloyo told us that there's a coup coming. Everybody started, I said maybe I should call Kemi Olunloyo because intelligence is very good. At the end of the day, is that not a coup now? A sitting president, a civilian president, stupid man, brought in a military to take in charge. So before he knows now, the military can also kick him out. It's 2 hours. I will just give a bit of room if there's going to be a phone call. But before we give calls, answer fáwọn èèyàn pé kẹ́ support wa a fẹ́ padà lọ sí Africa. Mo mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn ń wò pé bóyá bùkátà pọ̀. But one thing is, like I always say, we will not compromise. I won't compromise. Èmi ò ní lọ bá Ọbásanjọ́ nísìn. Ọbásanjọ́ fò, Ọbásanjọ́ tèmi pàdé ní kílíbẹ̀ yẹn lọ́gán, my darling. Ibo làdúgbò yìí lórí burúkú ta lọ bá wọn ṣe program kan tó máa ń ṣe ní December. Can't remember the location, that place now. Can't remember. About she disgrace her. So rather than me to beg politicians, I will continue to come on the social media and say, support us. That's the fact. I got a message, like I said during my message, from Eroti brother Wakontoba Walenisi, Oman Fumini Super Chat all the time. He's in Canada. Toba Oba Walenisi, Oma Mari, Momo Biotati Wale Tele, because I saw some few super chats. Kiloru Kobita lawyer, Bami send sorry, Iluba Obasanjo, not Ota. Ibogun. I was in Igboho twice. Tibere Yoruba Nation. Obasanjo did not give me £1. I went to make my media present there, that even people around the world. Elomi otemo ko won se event be ni agbole won. Ba dupe f'Ọlọ́run, because Ọlọ́run ko prepare wa náà ni fún àwọn ọjọ́ báyìí. Because sometimes when I talk like this, I talk with boldness. Let anybody come out and say this man talking, shut up. They can't, because they don't have anything to point on me. Came out from a good house. And we will continue my 25 years plus in the UK. I was tired this morning. I was doing a lot of other things. If I'm money life, doesn't mean anything. I have my own life as well. And I have to also take care of my family. So I was busy throughout the day, especially when I was in Africa. I was struggling with a lot of my app because there's too much security around a lot of what I do. So I have to start doing a lot of things. So it took a lot of time. So I program. Then I spent time with my wife. Not every time you just come and be doing program, and sometimes you just want to have that. Because since I came back, I think the time that is sorrow. Like I just came back doing program and all that. So I was busy having a good conversation with her. So, but when Igboho myself reviewed this Olori Buruku Gumi, Igboho said we should come out and give him a final warning. And we not say anything more than that. Anything not, Emma tidy up. That's all I would just say to you. When I don't know, but Emma tidy up. Emma, problem to because in Southwest. The first target is the one my target and you cannot hold me responsible for that. And it can move out completely, but Emma Murasile, Emma prepare. Tí kò bá ṣẹlẹ̀, wọ́n máa target ẹ̀yin lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. Kẹ̀kẹ́ máa sọ pé ẹ wá dá wàhálà sílẹ̀, wàhálà ti wà ní Nàìjíríà. Gbogbo tá à ń rí lójoojúmọ́ nísìn. We just saw and again, condolence to the family of those. And I don't take anything as what happened in Abuja today was a terrorist attack. Terrorists use everything to attack innocent citizens. I gave you the instances yesterday of the UK 2005 bomb They were suicide bombers. So coming out to tell me that, oh, Koiki, what happened in Abuja? It's a suicide bomber. They can use anything. They know that that is the inflammable gas. All they need to do is just hijack it from the driver and boom. And I pray for all the people that have lost their life at that accident. So Nigeria is already at war. And it seems that Tinubu is making it quicker. And I am so happy. Everybody, we must be very happy the way Tinubu is dealing with Nigerians. So we're already talking about revolution. So people are, the hype is already out there. So it's not about Yoruba people, but we, Yoruba nation, for night vigil. That's all I can tell you. So Koikimedia team, I've already put all my videos. They've cut out the ones that they want them to cut out. They're working around the clock. We still need laptops. You can see that we are adding extra layers. We now have, I'm not going to listen to Nigerian news. I don't listen to Nigerian news. We are still media. We still need to talk about Nigerian news. Come on, send the audio. I don't like Nigerian. Yes, I know it's frustrating, but we are still a media. And my job is also to report Nigeria to the international community. Some of them don't hear Yoruba. So we've now brought in an English news bulletin. But we need more assistance. All these BBC are not going to talk about Yoruba nation. TVC doesn't care. Imagine TVC is talking about Lege and very dark man and Olori Buruku. Out of everything happening in Nigeria, TVC, I saw it. It was scrolling. Lege Miami respond back to very dark man. You can see that they are useless TV station. So they're about support, get fund. Look, when we have our country, I'm not going to come out again and be telling you to come and fund us. I will look for a way to fund this media. But for now, this media is serving Yoruba people. Many people want to run advert on this platform. I said, no, I'm not against it. So we are pleading. Struggle as a media. We need resources to work with. Our boys ministry, on our favorite table at chair. Money go only table at chair because at your mic, but because the table to my connect them. And we know that we cannot have an office. If I have office in Nigeria, they'll take it out completely. Tinubu maniko. And let me say this in Yoruba. You see Tinubu now. If you think that we are coming out for night vigil, Tinubu will just say, "Ma forward our Yoruba people, elomurao." Don't trust Bola Tinubu. It can kill anybody for 2027. I'm not joking, no. It means 2027. It can kill anybody, no more. So quote me anywhere. He's a deadly man as well. If he doesn't do it, people that will do it on his behalf, there are millions of them. They know what I'm talking about. It will take anybody out. So we are Majadi, so John Nishin Kokon, or Lopo Nishin Kokon is already happening in River State. And I'm sure those people out there will respond back to Tinubu. Because like I was saying earlier, Yaradua made things stop with the bump of pipeline. Tompolo only support the breakup of Nigeria. But Asari Dokubo now can be part of those. I'm not saying he's behind the one attack now, but Asari Dokubo is now fighting Tinubu because Tinubu has not done anything for them. That's why we are saying that Tinubu will not serve everybody because he's a Yoruba man. He will first serve his Shagori, the criminals, and some few, people that can chop. So the line is open. We'll try and see if we can just take a few calls. There's a lot of comment that has come through. So the chief imam issue cannot stop Yoruba nation. If he thinks that he still want to be part of this movement, he needs to do the needful. Because if he become an attack on media, no. Let him go and resolve the issue in Cotonou and come out and apologize that I won't tell him award it and let him break it. That is part of my own that we will say yes. Yes. àwọn kan ní ẹ̀bí aṣífù máa mú fọgbọ́n fi yẹn gbogbo yẹn àfẹ́gbọ́n yẹn ìgbọ́n yẹn rárá o. So mo kí àwọn staff mi, they're working around the clock. They need the resources to work with. I can't give them a laptop. We bought one laptop. Mo ṣe tí laptop yẹn ṣe fún wa nísìn. Mo kí ẹ̀yin gbọ́n ẹ̀ kódà ní tó fún wa ní £1 tá fi ra laptop yẹn. Tẹ bá mo ṣe tí laptop yẹn ṣe fún àwọn ẹni tí laptop yẹn wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ó ṣàdúrà fún yín lójoojúmọ́ ni. He's using it for the purpose of this Koikimedia. He has even make his work faster. Because in the phone máa ṣe, ó yàtọ̀ sí ti laptop máa ṣe. Ó ti connect WhatsApp ẹ̀ mọ́ laptop. Tí bá send message sí àwọn staff mi yẹn nísìn. Within 30 minutes, mo máa ń get the result. Iṣẹ́ tẹ fún wa ní. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ ràn wá lọ́wọ́. A fẹ́ travel padà nísìn. À ń ṣe ronú ticket, àìtí ra ticket. By now, kò tẹ́ kí n máa sọ̀rọ̀ ticket rárá. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ẹ̀ ní dáwó àìsàn fẹ́mi. Èmi ò ní wá gbowó àìsàn lọ́wọ́ yín. Èèyàn sick yẹn, London lèmi wá. Tí bá sick, màá lọ sí hospital wá tọ́jú mi. But owó ta fẹ́ fi ṣiṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ Yorùbá náà ni. And some of us has to be on the ground. Chief Imam ò bá fẹ́ wà pẹ̀lú bàbá Kítóyè. Ẹ jẹ́ kémi lọ dúró ti bàbá Kítóyè ní Kútọ́nù. Kémi náà wà pẹ̀lú bàbá. Chief Imam ni kò fẹ́ wá dúró tì wọ́n. Èmi á lọ dúró ti bàbá Kítóyè. So èmi mọ reason tí a máa náà ní Chief Imam tí kò bá bàbá Kítóyè sọ̀rọ̀ tí kò lọ rí bàbá Kítóyè. Àdé ní Chief Imam gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Níbo ló ti jẹ́ Chief Imam gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá? You should have cordial relationship with the leader. Ṣé wọ́n tẹ̀ ń sọ fún bàbá Kítóyè tó bá lọ rí bàbá Ọbásanjọ́ yẹn pé àwọn fẹ́ lọ rí Ọbásanjọ́? Ṣé wọ́n béèrè lọ bàbá Kítóyè kan tó lọ rí Ọbásanjọ́? Ọbásanjọ́ kọ́ Ọbásanjọ́ yẹn bàbá òfò tó ní ṣoríire níbi tó bá wà. Àwọn bàbá ìkà. Ṣé mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ṣé lọ fọkàn balẹ̀? All hail Biafra. Àwọn response sí Gumi fúnra wọn. I can't speak on behalf of Biafra to Gumi. You know, it's just unfortunate that somebody like my brother Simon Ekpa is not here with us for now. Nnamdi Kanu will return back to court this weekend. I think 10 Biafrans and their military, ex-military, has arrived in Nigeria. Lawyers from US. They are not joking. I pray that Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And if they can't release him, let them send him back to Kenya. Kenya. That would be the best that Tinubu can do. Send him back. Yes, it is just the same pattern like my mom said. Dukbo Nitiri that refused to speak to Professor Akintoye. The same thing in Chief Imam. No, you want to tell us that you are doing Yoruba Nation, but you are not speaking with Baba Akintoye. Baba yẹn ṣe sùúrù. So èmi lọmọ yín mo ṣẹ́nu kò ní o èmi rò pé mi bàbá lẹ́kìtì ò tẹ̀ kí àwọn èmi tún ṣẹ́nu kò ní. Àtọ́ bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ movement kò ń ṣe tẹnu Ọlọ́run fi kẹ́ mi ni wàá sì máa pè mí 1 to 10 people. So kò sí tó ń lọ nínú movement tí mo mọ̀ Ọlọ́run fi kẹ́ mi ni kò ń ṣe pa fi ń dẹnu. Bọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́ la máa sọ síta ẹ̀nà pé ẹ̀yin náà lẹ ní àgbàlagbà lèmi náà Koiki gbọ́dọ̀ máa fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ tán. So more Chief Imam will do the needful, and then we can move forward as quickly as possible. That's all I can say. So he can do it, but it's up to him to do the needful. So mo kẹ́yìn yan wa lẹ́ǹkan sí ẹ ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ẹ support wa ẹ fún wa ní assistant yín. Pray for us, and let's also pray for Nnamdi Kanu. You might not like his utterances before, but it needs our prayer as well. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń pray fún Igboho, ẹ pray fún Nnamdi Kanu. Ẹ pray fún. Nobody is perfect. And not Tinubu is using Nnamdi Kanu as his last joker fáwọn Fulani. But ó máa bú lọ́wọ́, especially with the latest development that is happening, suspending a governor for 6 months. Nigeria máa dàrú. You think those people will just sit back and allow that to happen? I don't know. It's entirely up to them, not mine. Kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ wọn mọ́. Alábòsí ni gbogbo wọn. Ẹ̀yin bẹ́ẹ̀ mo ní ẹ̀yin lẹ́sìn rí àwọn kan pé ẹjọ́ ń ṣe Yorùbá. Àwọn kan bá ń ṣe Yorùbá Nation mọ́, àwa ti sọ fún yín. So èèyàn mọ̀rọ̀ sọ ìyẹn kọ́ ló má tà. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló ń ṣe Yorùbá Nation náà. So ẹ bá rò pé gbogbo èèyàn ló bá ń ṣe Yorùbá Nation, you're fooling yourself. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ dalẹ̀ Yorùbá Nation, ilẹ̀ máa yọ ni. àwọn òní ilẹ̀ máa mú gbogbo wa ni ó bẹ́tà kí wọ́n má ṣe tẹ́ni ọmọ ológun dà nísìn ẹ wo tọ́mọ ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ pàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpàpà Ọkọ̀ yàbàrà sí ni. Where is Tẹ́ni Ọmọlógo? Ibo ni Tẹ́ni Ọmọlógo wà nísìn? Ó yàbàrà wọlé, ó ti yàbàrà jáde. Ọmọ Yorùbá ṣì ni. At the end of the day, they create a lot of mess when they were in the movement. Mess pẹ̀tẹ̀lẹ̀ àwọn yẹn náà tó dá sílẹ̀ tó ti bá tiẹ̀ lọ nísìn. Àṣírí ni gbogbo wọn máa ń wá. Wọ́n ṣe máa wá àṣírí Koiki. Wọ́n wá àṣírí Ìgbòho gan. Àṣírí Ìgbòho gan tó bá rí gan ṣe wá sọ sórí social media. Àwọn ilé tó mọ̀ nípa confidential. Gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́kọ̀ máa gbé wá sórí social media gbàgàlà. Àwa sọ síta. Sáwọn yẹn lè máa ní ṣe Yorùbá nation. Ó ìjọ torí Ọlọ́run. So mú kí gbogbo èèyàn wá. So ẹ jẹ́ ká end ẹ̀ báyìí. So kí n lọ reflect. So ẹ pè wá èèyàn mẹ́wàá 100 pounds. Ticket is about 1,200. Kò ṣe tó wọ́n. Ẹ̀yin ò lè lọ. Èmi fẹ́ lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí èmi lọ on your behalf. Ká lọ fọwọ́ kun. Ẹ jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn wa ká tó máa lọ. Ká kí dáadáa ká tó máa lọ. So ká kọ̀fì tó kù ká fi ṣe eléyìí nísìnyí àti padà sí normal. Mo kí Mr. Sunday Olómìdé. Ẹ má bínú because tábà wo glasses bá lè rí nǹkan kọ́lọ́n kó ṣàánú. Bàbá kí tó ìgbọ̀n lo glasses. Mo kí Prince Adébáyọ̀ ṣe gan ni. Gbénga Michael, I really like your struggle. No going back. Gbogbo náà ni sá. Èmi ń ṣe tèmi fún àwọn family mi ni. Olúkálùkù ń ṣe tiẹ̀ ni. I'm fighting for my family and you too, you fight for your family. So gbogbo àjọ ń jà fún family wa ni. So I understand. Ta ló wà ńbẹ̀? Abíọ́dún mo kí yín o. Àkóǹgbẹ. Àwẹ̀ di mélòó báyìí? Àwa tá ń gbàwẹ̀. Kọ́lọ́n kó ṣàánú àwa tá gbà. Kò easy. Tweet, you are just few out of the millions. Àwọn tó lè ṣe náà wà bí tèmi náà. Wàláì, brother mi. Ẹ mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà bí ṣe sọ ó máa ń hold èèyàn back. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré gbé brother mi wọlé ọmọ Biafra yìí. German, ó bá a sọ̀rọ̀ lánàá. Quickly, German, good morning or good afternoon, good evening. Go ahead, quickly. Okay, ó máa padà wọlé nísìnyí. So you understand, most of you can also be the way like I'm doing. But like I said, I would have been in the same situation like you. Tí mom sí mi bá mú mi kúrò ní Nigeria. The fact that my mom took me out of Nigeria, my potential become valid. That's why I say thank you so much to the UK. They have their issue with us, but I still thank them. German, go ahead. Let me hear from you.
Well done. I hope I can that live.
For long. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight.
I want to do it not perfect, but anyway, something I have to put on the new weapon development that is happening in Nigeria.
Yes, go ahead, because you are in that region, you are in that axis. So what's going on there? Give us the update.
It's our eastern region that they divided to south, and southeast. So the thing happening there is like God's work. Feel me? Because it is a weapon development. Why is it a weapon development?
Yeah.
And I'm also praying that the thing escalates. Okay. And as a result, if this guy, if Tinubu has, because you said if Tinubu is ready to kill anyone for his 2027, and that's not a joke. So if he can help us to eliminate this his friend, Asari Tokobo, it will be a very good weapon development, because these Fulani people, you used to speak about Gumi, these Fulani people, they are very, very smart. In every region that is trying to behaving like they want to leave Nigeria, they will just fix him one person there. Okay. Tompulo used to work with Nnamdi Kanu, but after they fix Asali Tokobo now confused Tompulo, now bring him back. He now start working as pipe guide. Imagine that kind of nonsense.
And he doesn't want to have anything to do with freedom of his people. Ìyẹn tàn polo ni.
If they protect pipe when the real oil belongs to the Fulani, and you are the one guiding it, that the oil is in your land. So the same thing in Yoruba land. If you see, Tinubu is the agent there. Look at what happened during the EndCast. Tinubu did not talk because of his presidential ambition.
Yes.
So all these people, they are just gamers. So if Tinubu can help to remove Asari Dokubo.
But the thing that Tinubu can remove Asari Dokubo, honestly, because Asari Dokubo himself, we know that he's a tough guy.
Listen. Asari Dokubo is not tough. He didn't know see tough collect.
Okay.
Asari Dokubo is just a number. See, Asari Dokubo, is killing our people. He's sending a job boys to come to the east, to come to the south to kill our people. So we can cause enmity between us so that the eastern region cannot come together. So all those things that he's doing, all those sophisticated weapons that he's using to carry out his mission belongs to the federal government.
Okay.
It's not his weapon. It belongs to his federal government. The last time, Buhari was the one that supplied the weapon to him. So, but due to Tinubu is wise, Tinubu now pushed him from the beginning to go and speak against the military, so that the military will not be giving him information again because he has some boys inside the military. So if you see that first year, Tinubu pushed him to go and talk about the military tapping the oil. Do you understand? So he went to the hospital and said that the military are the one tapping the oil, and the thing really caused problem between him and the military.
I remember.
So all this, the division of Nigeria will stand for removing all these traitors inside our midst, inside our new nation.
Okay.
Because they understand that once Yoruba nation come now or Biafra nation come, they will have no room for corruption again. They will not be benefiting, packaging all the money that is meant for everyone. So that's why they are fighting against it. And they're using people. So, and see, this Fulani killing Christians, they are killing Muslims also. So any day that Hausa people will rise up against this Fulani, you know that
the Hausa cannot rise up because they've been conquered already. So let's not waste our time with the Hausa people. They're conquered people already, so they're not going to be able to rise up. Maybe when the two nations break away, they might give them the strength, to fight back. But right now, the Hausa people, I don't see them rising up against the Fulanis. How do you defeat the Sultan that is also a Fulani man? How do you take him out? How do you take out all these powerful people that have taken them out completely? So I mean, it will be very difficult for them. It will be a bloody revolution. It will be a real serious bloody revolution between both of them.
Let me tell you, after people are like, anyway, you push them, they will go. They really want to break out more than any of them. They do want to break out. So money is our problem. If you see someone to sponsor these outside people now, you will see their fights. They are very strong.
Okay, let's hope somebody among them will sponsor them. All right, because of my time, I'm just gonna let go for now, brother. Sorry about that because it's quite late, and like I said, I gotta drop my voice a little bit. I don't have a studio, but thanks so much. Hopefully, we catch up again tomorrow, God's willing. Thank you very much, John. As we're coming up to the end of the program, yes, it was Igboho, Mr. Razak. A question comes through. I'm going to quickly see if I can answer it from Tevin Tokwe. Sir, I have a question. Whenever Yoruba nation is finally coming to stay, sir, will power again not subjected to these corrupt leaders? How will Yoruba be really governed? Will there be nepotism and favorism again out? Ogun people, Ondo, Ekiti, Oshun, Oyo? Thank you. Well, to answer your question, you need to go and pick the good. 1 minute. Let me quickly get the title. Go to my website, Koikimedia.com. Guideline to Prosperity by Professor Akintoye. The template of exactly what you have said is right inside that template. Go on Koikimedia internationalnews.com. You will find it there. Or go on to koikimedia.com. You will find it in there. To answer your question, number one, there is no country that is not corrupt. Even America is so corrupt that now they have to release about 18,000 files of the who killed JFK. Dr. Kemi Lawyer is pushing that they should declassify the MK Abiola files with the FBI. You need to go back to bed. What do you want? You okay? Yeah, go back to bed. I'm coming. Yeah, go to bed. Love you. You don't want to go to bed. Yeah, lie down there. I'm coming. I'll lie down in the chair there. I'll take you to bed. I gotta wind down now because this boy is coming down now. I need to take him back upstairs. So to answer that question, Mr. Temitope, number one, there cannot be nepotism because we are going to be running a new constitution. Even if I am the one that has committed an offense, I have to be dealt with. That's no favorism. You will continue to see those things in Nigeria. So when people talk about Ekiti people, Ondo State, are we not one Yoruba people? We speak the same language. We still have the same ideology. We have the same culture, the same identity. So in terms of the corrupt leaders will be dealt with based on the constitution of the day. And I believe that has answered your question a little bit. So thank you so much. I have to wind down. Mr. Badamosi, thank you. Mr. Moses Ajibade, Mr. Francis. If I haven't mentioned your name, Victor Ajileye, thank you. Koiki, did you use diplomatic passports to go to Ekiti for Professor Akito's wife? I don't need a diplomatic passport because that is a security question you're asking there as well. So why should I need a diplomatic passport to go to Ekiti? Ekiti is a Yoruba land now. So you won't need a diplomatic passport. But I'm sure many people think that when we have Yoruba country, there will be issue between us and the Ogun, Ondo and all that. I don't think so, and I don't believe so. We will live a better life, far, far better than the corrupt Nigeria that we are forcing ourselves to live together. So I hope many
Maybe it's more of a hugger.
I might be no.
I'll leave it to you to it. From toys to tech to homeware. Beautiful.
Sorry about that. There's so much things open on the laptop, so I don't even know where that sound is coming from. And I need to take it down. Okay, here is it. So going back to the summary of this program tonight, we've come back to say to Gumi to be very careful with his utterances, calling us terrorists. We're not terrorists. If we're terrorists, we would have terrorized many Nigerians, but we don't do so. I've also addressed the Imam issue that most of you probably have been waiting for my own honest opinion. I've given you my honest opinion. The question I've asked again is, why did Imam did not attend the burial? Did he spoke to Baba Akintoye after the wife died? Did he make a visit? When was the last time he spoke to Baba Akintoye? And what is really behind this award? Being a patron must have been something that he must have done that they've decided to give him the award. The award was given to him not by any other tribe, as what he said. The award was given to him by the Arewas, and I've given you the full meaning of the Arewas. I am the one that gave out the information about the Arewa that was circulating, because Kato find out in Akoko Bodo Mokini meaning. So many people that doesn't know the meaning of Arewa, I believe now you know who Arewa and Amadu Bello. I'm talking about the picture frame. While was his own picture not in the frame, while Amadu Bello, and he will put that in his house. So Mr. Idris, Pastor Moore, to my beautiful mother, to my wives, to my children. I've just woke up one of my children. I need to take him back to bed now. Bishop Adeshina, thank you so much for joining. Aziz, thank you for the super chat. Triple DRS all the way from Nottingham. Thank you. And the rest of you, Safety Domain, thank you so much. African Confidential, I think Safety Domain also gave us, super chat. I love money. Thank you so much, my brother. Mokibo Benti, Ewal America, Adeoshun Timothy, thank you. All the Biafra, I love you. And we pray that good news will come out from the Nnamdi Kanu case, I believe on Friday. Victor Gilea, thank you so much. Late Delegio was taken out at the age of 39 by Brian Badamosi Babangida. David Adegoke, thank you so much. Dizzy Man, thank you so much. Entawani, Cote d'Ivoire, thank you. Sunday Wale, Gumi is a terrible terrorist, there's no doubt about it. Waris Ginaldo, thank you. To all the medias, thank you very much. To all our mothers, Don't worry, go to bed and sleep. You have a strong media, not just myself, and those medias are protecting your interest. And my sorry against our media and people we have to protect. We don't want to go and get caught up like Duponitiri again. We've got to be very, very careful. We are at the final straw of this movement. Yami Titi Lawyer Show. Okay, if I didn't mention your name on Instagram, on the Twitter, on the Mixer Loud, thank you so much to all those Hacking Games. And I'll be back again whenever I'm back. But my team will always be out. Remember to listen to us on Twitter. Look on the Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Read our article, our voice note. Help us to share it and spread it to many people. But most important, pray for me, pray for my family, and pray for the Koikimedia team. Because those teams are dedicated, ready to serve the Yoruba people. And like I said to them, they will also be remembered when we finally have our country. And for those of you that are saying we don't have our country, we leave you to continue to ponder on what is our next move. We leave that for you to start thinking. Okay? Udaro.